festivals, and there was one in the wintertime, and all night listening to techno music.
Built different.
They are. They definitely are. So.
Okay, I have a question, because Dusty, he keeps on talking about Cody's hairstyle, and he got a high fade, and he's never seen Cody in a high fade before. I noticed you got it cut. And I noticed you got it cut, but is this a new hairstyle? Is it new?
I think
it is really short on the side.
He did the fade instead of like just a standard fade. I think he did more of a skin fade.
Yeah, it's really short.
But other than that, it's the same hairstyle.
Okay.
So it's slightly shorter, probably on the side.
Dusty said it looks nice, and yes, it does look good. And I knew that you.
I feel like that's not what he said. The way Mac laughed and the way Drew's talking about it, I actually don't think that is what Dusty said. I think he said his hair looks stupid.
No. Dusty likes the haircut. He was like, wait, did Cody get the high fade? Is that a new hairstyle? I said, I know he got it cut. I don't know. It looks similar.
Well, I think Cody finally was talking about last week. He wanted to support the troops more, so he's trying to eventually go full military cut. So that's what Cody said last week when I was gone.
Shout out to you, Cody. Good job.
Way to support.
It's I can't wear it as long as you and Drew did. It makes me crazy.
How long would it take for your hair to grow out as long as Gold's or Eyes?
You think? I don't know.
Not that long. The top is probably not way different in length, right? So for sure, as long as it took that to grow out, I guess.
I didn't notice the haircut until you guys just said that, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I could see it. So
you got the good lineup, yeah.
So we'll get into some other things that happened from the weekend. Also, a couple of things I want to run by you guys from the trip up in Montreal. But let's start with the news of the day, I guess, even though it is not surprising by any means. And you guys can always interact on the J. Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Video stream up and running, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and X. That is that Jawaan Taylor is expected to be released, barring something shocking happening with the trade or something like that. But he's expected to get released. We all knew this was a real possibility because, A, performance not living up to contract, but also the real financial ramifications that exist with his contract that he signed, and the fact that they can save $20 million and get under the cap by the start of the league year by cutting Jawaan Taylor. And they'll still have to eat some of that money. Let's not forget, they're $27.4 million cap hit. So they're still going to eat some of that money. But in my opinion, Cody, they have their right tackle in 2026 on the roster, and it's Jalen Moore. And I know we can get into this. There's some speculation. Could they draft a tackle? Could they sign a tackle? For me, I want to take advantage of the first time in at least 2, maybe 3+ years, I don't have to spend a premium pick or serious resources on the O-line. Take advantage of the fact that
I've been nothing but doing that for 5 straight years.
Take advantage of the fact that you have, in my opinion, your franchise left tackle. I understand Josh Simmons was not as available as we would have liked with the weird absence and everything. But in my opinion, they have their left tackle. I think they have a solid left guard. We know they got one of the best centers. We know they got one of the best right guards in football. Jalen Moore could be very serviceable as a right tackle. You're also paying him a good chunk of change. Do not spend a premium draft pick 9 or 40, on an offensive lineman this year, please. You don't take it, use that to fill other areas, whether you think it's running back. We'll get to Jeremiah Love. Whether you think it is defensive line, certainly that's where I would like them to go. Maybe a wide receiver, maybe a safety. That's what I want them to do. So Jawaan Taylor getting cut, to me, is kind of a no-brainer move, but do not now cut him and then go spend a ton more resource-wise on that same position this offseason.
No, why did you bring in Jalen Moore, legitimately, if he's not going to start now? That was the whole point. Was to protect yourself against Simmons, and so that you could also, if Simmons worked out, protect yourself against the eventuality that Jalen, or that Jawaan Taylor was going to be too expensive. So, the first plan, fine. The backup plan, you didn't need him right away, right? Simmons was working. You had Jawaan Taylor. You wouldn't even bench Jawaan Taylor for Jalen Moore. And here's the truth, and I think we talked about this last week with Nate Taylor, I think. Jawaan Taylor, for whatever it's worth, is a better player than Jalen Moore. They are about to be worse at right tackle, whether people want to admit it or not. Jawaan Taylor was not as bad as you all think he was. He had problems, and the false starts were an issue, and it was
55 penalties in 55 penalties in his Chiefs career.
He's a penalty damn machine. But from a blocking perspective, he is better than most people are giving him credit for. Jalen Moore is worse at blocking than Jawaan Taylor. So it's a slight dip. But what's the point if you have the highest paid guard, highest paid center, a second-round pick at left guard, and a first-round pick at left tackle? we're good. You've spent the investment. You got to figure out a way. Andy Heck's got to coach him up. Whatever it's got to take in order to make it work. I'm not saying don't bring in competition for Jalen Moore. You want to take a tackle in the 3rd round, 4th round. You want to bring somebody in. You want a free agent that's a swing tackle who can straight up be in a competition with Jalen Moore. You want Esapole to they're going to get equal snaps in a mini camp and they're going to compete for the job. That's fine too. I don't care. But like the Jawaan Taylor stuff, it's not the worst signing they've ever made. He's better than you think he is. But yes, it's also time to go. Like both things can be true. Like I'm not trying to run him out of town like he's just been the worst right tackle in the history of this team. But I'm also not willing to pay him the $27 million cap hit he'd be due if they weren't to make this move. This is a logical move. It gets them back in cap compliance. Now they got a little bit of wiggle room to do whatever's next, right? Whoever's contract they're dealing with next. Because this is one of many moves that still remain.
Right, and I know the report says barring a trade. I just don't know. If I'm another team, why would I give up any sort of draft capital and eat some of that salary? It makes no sense to me. I'm just going to let him walk, let him become a free agent, and then negotiate from there. And he will get signed fairly early on in free agency. I mean,
there are teams who are desperate.
Yeah, like he will get signed fairly early on. He's an experienced right tackle. He is a Super Bowl champion right tackle. They won a Super Bowl with him as a right tackle. Yep. All right, so he absolutely should and will get signed somewhere and get a nice little contract somewhere else. His issue, we all know, was the penalties. It's a weird thing to say, like, if you take the penalties away, he was serviceable and pretty damn good. But 55 penalties and 300 yards or whatever it was of penalties is just flat out unacceptable. And just got to a point where it just was such a killer on drives for this football team.
Yeah, and look, here's the reality. I saw the same reports you guys did over the weekend. I think it was Daniel Harms and a million other people just being like, I don't think you guys are giving enough credit to the fact that tackle is a very real possibility at 9. I'm like, are you serious?
I don't like that.
It better not be. Like, it better not be. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Like, I understand this idea of, like, surrounding talent with Mahomes. That is important. Put it somewhere else. What do you mean? So you're trying to tell me they take one at 9. The right tackle will be pick number 9. The left tackle will be their first-round pick from the year before that. Their left guard will be the second-round pick from the year before that. And the 2 highest paid players at their position will be at center and right guard. Well, then I'll tell you this much. They spend pick number 9 at right tackle. It better damn sure be, without argument, the number 1 offensive line in football. Like, there better not even be like, well, I could make an argument for Denver's. Or that, no, it better be like, without question, the number 1 offensive line in the league, and everybody agrees. Look at them. They're a force to be reckoned with. No one can stop them. They give up 6 sacks for the entire year. They better be great if that's the kind of resource allocation you're going to throw at this damn thing. And look, I don't know how real it is. I think maybe it's some of it's smokescreen stuff because right now, out of the top 10, I think the Chiefs are actually the toughest team to predict in what they're going to take. Because you can make an argument as it sits for
a lot of angles.
Tight end, safety, edge. Now they've introduced tackle and wide receiver. Good luck guessing what's at 9. Maybe they want people to jump ahead of them and take different positions. Maybe they want people to entertain trading with them so they could trade down. But right now, they're a real mystery in this. The first 5 teams, I think I can get it down to 1 to 2 positions. Like at 2, it's edge. Like it's not even a mystery. At 1, it's quarterback. So the first 2 picks, I don't have to think about it. I'm good there. There's a little bit of diagnosing, but when you get to the Chiefs, it's 5 or 6 positions.
Yeah, it's great to be top 10, but there are teams in front of you that would, I think, gladly take a couple of the defensive ends that are available, and Bain and Bailey, if you think they're both going to go early. It's not just because of their talent, but there's team like the Commanders, for example, that they also would like some defensive end help. Okay. Are both those guys slipping back to Commanders? Very unlikely. It's a team like Tennessee who hired a defensive-minded head coach and Robert Saleh. You don't think that they're very interested in a defensive lineman when you have a defensive-minded head coach like that? I think they are and likely could take a defensive lineman. So you just get into a scenario where if you're the Chiefs, if those 2 guys are off the board, does that make you pivot then to safety and Caleb Downs? Is Caleb Downs a guy that's going to go way higher than we even think? We'll get to the wide receiver stuff here a little bit later on. Did some of the combine is major overreaction anyway, but how much did that shift the opinion of some people? We'll get to a mock draft later. Jay Binkley's going to join us in 20 minutes from Character Concerns. I want to ask him about the biggest mover in his opinion based off of what we just saw take place in Indianapolis. But yeah, offensive line, if we make our list of positions that you think should be off the table, not that they are, like the Chiefs, I do think, I agree with you, have probably 5 positions. To me, offensive line is off the table at 9. It's not for the Chiefs, I don't think, but I do not want them investing in O-line in the first or second round. They want to draft a right tackle in the third or fourth round. Sure, fine. It's all good. They can draft any position in the third round, I honestly.
I really stopped caring right around there.
But not at 9 and even 40, no, man, I really don't want them to do that. If they need to go draft a right tackle or sign one again next year, if Jalen Moore doesn't pan out, then so be it. Take an off-season, quote-unquote, off of having to spend significant resources at that position because you have major needs on the defensive line, at wide receiver. Hell, you could talk me into tight end more than them taking an offensive lineman at 9. And I really don't want them to draft Sadiq, but he was impressive. I would take that selection over a right tackle at 9.
We'll talk more about running backs coming up at 11 o'clock because there's at least one available, but one of the other ones who was available no longer is. Adam Schefter says the Texans have now traded for running back David Montgomery. Over the weekend, after it was mentioned he was available, David Montgomery to the Lions. The Lions get a 4th-round pick, offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, and a 7th-round pick.
Wow.
In return. So
they'll probably use that 4th-round pick to draft another one.
I gotta say that feels like pretty good return for the Lions, and we can talk about this later as
because initially he reported it was for a 5th-round pick.
Yeah,
his first tweet 13 minutes ago, Lions sending David Montgomery to the Texans for a 5th-round pick. I'm like, would I have done that if I'm the Chiefs' 5th-rounder? And then I see, it's Montgomery for a 4th, a lineman, and a 7th.
How did that change?
I have no idea how Schefter.
I don't know. We'll talk about it coming up at 11 o'clock because there's another running back available as well, but still, there is some interest in that. Let's talk a little bit about the Royals. They, over the weekend, on Friday night, it first started to leak out maybe it was possible. Then on Saturday, John Heyman and others were hinting at the possibility that it was close to a done deal. And while the Royals have not officially announced it, I'm pretty sure it's a done deal. Starling Marte is going to be a Kansas City Royal as an additional right-handed outfielder. And I'll say, this makes all the sense in the world, and you do not need to panic that this means anything for Jack Caglione or Isaac Collins, in my opinion. You know this means something for? Nick Lofton. This means something for the guy who might have been player number 26 on the roster who would start 1 to 2 days a week and available. Starling Marte, for what it's worth, is a million years old. 37 by baseball standards, that's pretty old. But was a lot better than I realized he had been, and a player that I know the Royals have coveted for, 5 to 7 years at least. He had 270 last year, 335 on base, 410 slug, and a 745 OPS. He played in 98 games. Perfect. This is the player that they've been playing, these Nick Lofton-y types, these non-established major leaguers, and Tyler Tolberts, and they've been moving around. This is an established veteran. This is as good as like when they traded for Tommy Pham in the playoff year. This is kind of a perfect fit for an occasional right-handed outfielder who can hit lefties.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would be upset with the move. Nobody should sit here and act like it's this amazing signing, but it also, yes, makes sense. To me, it's a smart move if you want to have some depth, as you said, coming off the bench as a pinch hitter instead of a Nick Lofton type. It's Starling Marte. Yeah, that's an upgrade. It's a bit of bargain bin shopping. He's available March 2nd for a reason. I don't know if we have the exact dollar amount yet. It's going to be a 1-year deal reportedly, so it's not going to be anything too crazy. He's someone that does provide you, though, insurance. Let's say, injury always, but let's say Isaac Collins, what he was in August, is the reason why he came up to the big leagues late. Let's say Isaac Collins just doesn't have it. I hope that's not the case, but let's say he just doesn't have it. Has a rough start to the season. Okay, there's an option for you. Let's say Kyle Isbell, who had a career year, let's say he falls off, or Lane Thomas, who you thought was going to be the guy to bounce back post-injury. Maybe he struggles. Or Jack Caglione doesn't figure it out. He's an insurance policy. He's an insurance policy, but also a nice veteran to have in the clubhouse. That also, to me, on a given day, if he's in the lineup, you feel like he can still give you something. It's probably the 90 to 100 game range, if we're being fair, of what you're going to see. If he plays more than that, it means someone got hurt or performance really, really is lacking from the names we just mentioned. So, yeah, it's not a nothing burger, but it also is a move that is more about insurance, in my opinion. and depth than anything else.
Yeah, I don't think it's telling. Like, I think, and you were gone last week. I'm all aboard CAG's hype training.
Good.
All aboard.
Cody.
I don't know that I never.
You're all aboard?
Yeah, see, I don't think I ever left. But am I?
I got the CAG shirt on
trying to
right
decide if I
now,
was wearing
man.
the
If you're
CAG
watching
shirt,
on
I
the
wasn't.
video stream.
But I'm back. I'm all the way back. If there was any part that wavered, and this show didn't really waver much because it's 60 games. And there's no reason. And I pointed out Junior Caballeros. It has season from years 1 and 2 to 3. You don't have to. This is the kind of move smart baseball teams make in order to complete a roster. It's a few $1,000,000. It's better than having some 4A player who you and I get tired of seeing on a Sunday afternoon or a getaway Wednesday where you're like, boy, the lineup's looking rough today. Because you get through the bottom part of the order, Starling Marte can at least provide some offensive spark. And, again, he gets on base still in an okay clip. Same point I pointed out as any player they brought in. You do realize Starling Marte would have been like second on this team in on-base percentage, right?
So
last year,
yes.
get on base a little bit, be able to get knocked in, move forward. You know?
Yes. I always think, though, when we talk outfield, anybody that wants to cite and be like, well, he would have been one of their best outfielders last year. Yeah, the bar was extremely low. So,
I just meant he would have gotten on base more than most of the team.
Yeah. The outfield, I mean, there's not many guys they could have brought in, Cody, that would have been worse. Again, their opening day left fielder
it was
is
statistically
now
the worst outfield they've ever
opening
had.
day left fielder did not make it through the season. He's now with the Mets, and to his credit, good for MJ. I saw he had a home run or two the other day in spring for New York. Good for him. And then the other outfielder is not in baseball right now, in Hunter Renfroe, right? So
no. He never got back
I don't
to
think
baseball.
I've ever seen. I don't
I
think
did
I've seen
see
a
an
signing.
MJ.
Yeah, he
spring training
had
home
2
run.
home runs.
Good for him.
Yeah, no,
Honestly,
I
again, I hope it works out for him.
so do I.
Sometimes a change of pace will do it. Jack Cagliano's been very good in spring training. And it's not just because he's been good in spring training. That's the same as, letting it rip in double and triple A. He's still going to have to do it in the bigs.
Mm-hmm.
He's just still one of the most talented prospects. Let's just call him a prospect for the sake of, I understand he's not technically, but as a player who's played less than 60 games, he's one of the most talented young players in baseball. And it would look different if it was there. But it's a good signing. It's a good signing by the Royals. I got no complaints about it. You have fun on
Were
your
you
trip?
surprised? Were you surprised though? Like that at this point they brought in a vet. Like we thought that was going to happen a month ago.
I am
maybe.
not kidding.
Like a
on
month
Friday,
ago.
typed into the rundown, and we talked about it very briefly. Was the Royals should add? I wish I was kidding. The Royals should add an outfield bat. The way that these veterans are finally getting signed, there's no reason not to have a righty.
There you go.
I
Okay.
wanted this exact signing.
Perfect.
So nope, not surprised. Fits perfect. Is a logical fit. Does not change anything about how you should feel about the Major League roster. It is just a good depth add. That's all. You didn't have to worry about Royals outfielders. You were in Montreal.
Yeah.
Did you? And you didn't get your ass kicked by a Canadian?
I did not.
So you're squared away there.
Everybody, I mean, this won't surprise you. Everybody there was super nice.
That's good.
Super nice, especially at the hockey game. And in the hockey game, it was certainly one of the highlights. We talked about it last week.
I want
about going there,
NHL, yeah.
and it made me want an NHL team even more. And I know the Montreal Canadiens, that atmosphere is like top level. Okay.
Peak and peak.
The Bell Center, which is the venue, I'll say this. So it has the history and everything, but T-Mobile Center's nicer. Like,
That's
it's
good.
just nice. Now, there's elements that they have added on at Bell Center because it's the Canadiens' home. So, T-Mobile Center is very bland. There's no team. It's a very bland building.
Sure.
So it would.
It looks like it belongs to the
totally.
Canadiens.
It's got history. It belongs, and some of the areas where, I don't know, their version of their Hall of Fame or whatever, it was cool to see, to walk around. But T-Mobile Center, I'm like, it's nicer. Like, the seats didn't have any cup holders or anything, Cody, anywhere in the building. I couldn't see it. Anyway, so little stuff like that. But it was an awesome atmosphere. The funniest part at the game, though, Cody, they were playing Sweet Carolina at one point, and it was in French, and it was great.
Oh.
It was hilarious to me.
But you could tell.
Oh,
even though
totally.
it was-
Well, yeah, they still do
Just do
the
the bump?
ba ba ba. They still do that. But so that was cool at the game. I will say, for me, just walking around the city, because we were staying downtown in Montreal, and seeing people just walking around from the grocery store with baguettes coming out of the like a little thing like that. I'm like, this is cool. Like,
Well, it
just a
feels
little thing.
right.
Yeah, I like it.
People speaking French, eating baguettes.
French everywhere. Now you could get by clearly speaking English there. At first, you sit down at a bar and they first will greet you in French, not just bonjour, but they'll try to you just say like English, and then they flip a switch and you're good to go. But I just love being around that. That was cool to me. And then You'll be proud of me on the food. You guys know I'm a picky eater, okay? It's no secret if you listen to the show at all.
Yeah, I tell you to try new things. You'll find other things you like.
I did try something new.
Good.
So not only did I have like the stuff they're known for, poutine or whatever, which it was okay.
And gravy covered fries.
It was okay. I had venison. So one of the meals on Saturday night, there was multiple. It was like a multiple course thing because, as I told you, I was there because my mom happened to have a work meeting there, and so in the evening around dinner time, I would go to one of their events, and then I would go do my own thing. And on Saturday, there was a really nice dinner we went to with the group, and there was one of the meals was venison. I had never had it, and I was very skeptical. It's like super thin slice, really tender. It didn't have much, I didn't feel like it even had much of a strong taste, which was good. I was worried it'd be like gamey or whatever, and it was very good. Now, would I like go out of my way to order it again? No.
It wouldn't beat out a filet.
I'll take my filet, thank you very much. But it was good, and so I was proud that I even tried the venison, Cody. Very proud of that. The best food I had the whole trip. So I had a whole list of places I wanted to go. I told you last week, like there's this deli I wanted to go to. They're known for like smoked meat. It was kind of like a corned beef sandwich. And it was very good. I had that yesterday for lunch. The best meal, and I went twice because the other people in the group wanted to try it after they heard me talking about it. So there's a Chinatown area.
Yeah.
In Montreal. And so it's like you probably could have gone in any of these restaurants and it would have been great. But I had done some research. This place had soup dumplings. So
I've had a soup dumpling.
I had never had one. So of course there's regular dumplings, but these are soup dumplings, and you could get anything from like a pork inside pork or teriyaki beef or chicken or you name it. And they bring out like 10. You can mix and match, but like they bring out a box and just has 10 of these. You use chopsticks and you grab it, and inside of it there's soup broth and then whatever filling, and it's clearly like made fresh right there. It was unbelievable. You would have loved it.
Soup dumplings are awesome. Does this encourage you to try some new foods? You try something new.
Within reason.
Why within reason? You might find out you love something not within reason. You can't know until you eat it. You just discovered a soup dumpling is something you love.
But soup dumpling, I knew it wasn't like it was
dumpling related.
It wasn't like there was random like oysters inside of it or something where I wouldn't try. I mean, I got some that had beef or pork or chicken, and it was like the best meal I had. That was my favorite food-wise that I had there, I would say. And then there were just different random tour things we did while we were there, behind the scenes. I didn't know. Did you know the world headquarters for Cirque du Soleil is in Montreal? I did not know that.
I did know that for, I don't know, a weird reason. But yes, the guy who started it is Guy Liberté or something.
And he's got an amazing a private art collection on site there. We got to see. It was quite ridiculous. But so we got a behind the scenes tour. And then the 1976 Olympics were in Montreal. It's the 50th anniversary. So we went to Olympic Park.
The expos are named after. Exactly. The expositions.
Yep. Yeah. So Olympic Park and that whole area, which they're renovating. They're trying to reopen Olympic Park, which is kind of cool. And there was like this world diving competition going on while we were there, as we were touring that and stuff. So I enjoyed it. I was ready to get back home. But yesterday I was like, all right, time to get home. But I would love to go in the summertime because they have a ton of outdoor festivals and markets, and it was very cold.
What's this thing about the rave that people are talking about? You at a rave?
No, I was not at a rave. So Saturday night after dinner was near the Festival Plaza is in English, but this is what we would call it. But there was the first night of this like light festival, basically. And so if you were on my social at all, and it's posted there, there was a video, and one of the areas of the festival, it was packed, like shoulder to shoulder. It was crazy. And so I'm just walking through, literally, the saying, you feel like you're in a foreign country. Obviously, I was in a foreign country, but I had never felt more like I was in a foreign country than where I'm shoulder to shoulder people, and I'm just this random American walking through this crowd of people. And it was just like I thought there was a stage. I thought maybe there'd be like live music, as in a band or singer or something. And no, it was just a DJ and dun, 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 constant techno the entire time. But it was a vibe though. Everybody was in heavy winter coats, and it felt like you were in Canada. And it was just I needed to be
an outdoor rave in Canada.
That's what
February seems crazy to me.
Right.
Everybody was in their element.
Everybody was in their element.
Summertime thing?
You definitely needed to be so I stayed out there for 40 minutes, and then I was like, all right, this is too cold. Also, I needed to be drinking way more or needed to be on something else to continue hanging out there at that. But yeah, I wouldn't call it a rave. It was this festival. It was free, open to the public. They had a bunch of other things going on there as well. But I would encourage, again, summertime I think would be cooler just because you can, it's a walking city for sure downtown. You can definitely walk around, and I got some steps in, to say the least. But yeah, man, it was good. Someone says, how did the music go again? I think the morning show has a drop of me doing it. I didn't even need to do it again. The morning show made fun of me for that at one point in time. I don't know if we have it ready, but they did have a drop of me doing that from a couple weeks ago. I don't know how, it's
I'm not having the bass just thump, thump. I'm not going.
Well, that's not even what I just did, but they do have that one.
Same vibe.
Same vibe. So, yeah, man. Someone texted me and said, if I go to Australia, kangaroo steak.
Feels weird.
I mean, if I'm going to, I'll make whoever you are, I know who you are, but for the listeners.
Corky, mate.
I know who it is that texted in.
Yeah.
If I ever am in Australia, I will try kangaroo steak. So,
Nice.
Yeah,
Mix it
there
up.
you go. All right, up next, guys. Jay Binkley had his best week of the year, his Super Bowl, the Combine. I want to find out if he's buying what we saw, especially at wide receiver next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's easy, right? We're just talking about like sitting outside. Maybe this week's weather looks like it's going to be crummy for a huge chunk of it. If you're tired of it, you could be learning a new career over at Centric. Learning skills is only a part of the journey over there, but turning those skills into career, that's what Centric specializes in.
Yeah, they're going to work with you through the entire process, too. Resume building, interview preparation, guidance on landing a real entry-level IT job. And here's what's cool with local employers. This is not a situation where you got to move out of the area. There are plenty of jobs right here in Kansas City. In today's market, training alone is not enough. That's why they specialize. They're going to be able to place you. They're going to get you prepared to get hired, which ultimately is what you're trying to do.
Yeah, we talked about it. My nephew went there. We've had listeners of the show talk about it. If you want to find out more how that fit works for you, go to Centric.com and talk to our guy, Russ. That's Centric.com.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family is banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in no time with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025. Actual speeds vary. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to the premises by coaxial cable.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-458-9469. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-458-9469. 800-458-9469. 800-458-9469.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
Don't wait until extreme temps hit. Anthony makes home comfort easy. Right now, buy a new AC and get a furnace free when you book at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Just getting started here on a Monday. Cody and Gold, everybody back in the building, feeling good. To start the week, you guys interacting already on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Coming up in 25 minutes, we will talk more about the available running backs. Not in the draft, but in free agency, although one of the just got traded. If you missed it to start the show today, David Montgomery of the Lions has been traded to the Houston Texans. We'll discuss that compensation and if it's one you would think the Chiefs should have made as well, coming up in just a little bit. But let's head out to our friend Jay Binkley, who was kind enough to fill in for me for a couple days last week. Bink, the combine is in the rearview mirror. As it relates to the Chiefs, who do you think, I guess, made you a believer more out of the group of players you were keeping an eye on based on their performance?
Actually, it went the other way, Alex.
Okay.
It completely went the other way. But there's some fun things about it. Obviously, this Jeremiah Love thing is fun. And Cody and I talked about it Friday. But we called it out. We said he's going to go to the combine. He is participating, which he's one of the few elite talent players actually doing the drills at the combine. But he's going to go, and he's going to put together a great combine. It is going to be a great combine, and everybody is going to be so enamored and so in love with Jeremiah Love, even though he was the same player. He hasn't played a game since Notre Dame season was done. But everybody was going to fall in love with those numbers, and you kept seeing the combine numbers. Let's not forget something. He's 6 foot, about 212 pounds. Isaiah Pacheco's 5'10 and 216. Isaiah Pacheco ran a 4.37 at the combine. Jeremiah Love ran a 4.37 and a 4.36. So let's slow down just a little bit. But I think it bodes well for the Chiefs, and I think he becomes more of a piece because I do see the Veach smoke screen that's going out there with Jeremiah Love when he's having, press conferences and talking about, getting that explosive back. And we all know doing the combine tracking, that I do each and every week, that maybe as much as 14 out of 25 mocks all have Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs. He talked about the Chiefs at the Combine. Everybody's talking about it. So if people are worried about it, do they want to jump the Chiefs at 9, the Saints at 8, or do they want to make a deal and get into the top 10 because they think that's the direction the Chiefs are going? But his Combine results actually help the Kansas City Chiefs because it becomes more of a trade chip if they happen to trade down.
Are you I guess some of this is like the Combine, and I understand that we have to take everything with a grain of salt. But it was twice this weekend, or I guess over the point of the Combine, that Adam Schefter felt the need to, like, I don't know, do lip service for the agents where it's like,
yeah,
well, I don't know. You know, some people's stopwatches said that he was the fastest man alive and he was Usain Bolt, even though Carnell Tate ran a slow 40. And then the same thing had happened earlier in the week with Ruben Bain's arms or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I just take these stock measurements more than I do whatever thing Adam Schefter is trying to spin.
It's tough, and you're hearing about guys didn't interview well and stuff like that. But I'm with you on Schefter, and people called it right out, too. When he put out the thing about Bain, and, well, Bain, there might have been 2 players. And let's keep this in mind, too. The Senior Bowl measurements are much different than what happened at the Combine, which shouldn't happen. You should have one standard measuring system. But somebody put out on Twitter as well, this Brad on Twitter, he goes, yes, officer, I know you clocked me going 78 to 65, but several NFL executives and GMs had times in the 62 to 64 range. That is 100% accurate, because when you get out there, that you guys know how these scouts work at the Combine. They sit up in the suites and they only show a video of which GMs are in what suite. So the GM's sitting there and he's got his Starbucks in one hand and a stopwatch in the other. And that is supposed to be more accurate than the actual laser timed 40-yard dash happening on the field. I'm not buying it. It's the agent getting a hold of him and said, hey, man, what are you doing to my guy? You're crushing him. But it's pretty transparent, and it was pretty weak on Adam Schefter's part involving Ruben Bain and Carnell Tate.
We're talking to Jay Binkley here on 96.5 The Fan. Let's talk about the wide receiver group. You mentioned Tate's name there, disappointing 40-yard dash. In general, I do think some of this gets a little overrated. But
100%.
Out of the wide receiver room now, based on what you did see at the Combine and what you already felt, what changed? Did anything change for you when you look at these receiver options for the Chiefs at 9, or I guess later on as well?
Not a ton. I wish that Mekhi Lemon would have ran, but I understand why a lot of these guys don't. And, the NFL love putting out those 40 times, and it's the fastest group of running backs that we've seen. But the problem is 21 running backs went to the Combine, only 10 ran. So the piece of the pie is going to be much different when it comes to, actual measurements. But, yeah, I wish Lemon would have ran. Yeah, he did the on-the-field drills, and that was good to see. And Carnell Tate, you had to think that the 40 time wasn't going to. He's not known, as a 100% blazer in what he can do. But let's not forget, if I went to Target there next door and I asked 10 people who the best receiver in the NFL was last year, who had the most catches in the NFL, I'm sure Puka's name would come up a few times. Oh, that Puka Nacua. He ran a 4.57 at the Combine. So always have to take some of these numbers with a grain of salt.
Who did you think, I guess, out of anybody jump out to you in the defensive line stuff, good or bad, other than the arms, obviously, from Bain, or from the wide receivers? Like, is there somebody you didn't think we were entertaining that maybe we should?
Not really. I still think that second tier, and there's a lot of second tier guys that didn't run. Zion Young's one of the guys that didn't run. David Bailey going out there and being part of it, but he's going to go way before the Chiefs made a selection. I think Caleb Banks really helped himself from the interior part of the defensive line with the arm length and everything he possesses. Yeah, he missed a lot of games. He only played, 4 games last year, so that's going to be a concern. But it's tough to not look at the Combine numbers and become enamored with it. The interviews are actually what gets better. If teams are actually showing an interest in a player, they'll bring him in for a top 30 visit. And maybe not. Sometimes they use it as a smokescreen. Although the Chiefs have used the top 30 visit and have drafted people from it. Kingsley Suamatia came in for a top 30 visit. Josh Simmons came in for a top 30 visit. So, yeah, they do draft players that did not come in for a top 30 visit because you want to throw a smokescreen that you're not really interested in said player. It's really a chess game from here until the draft with these GMs. But I think Caleb Banks really helped himself on the interior part of the defensive line. He really showed out. I really like that second group, like Moore at Michigan, Zion Young at Missouri, Gabe Jackas, who showed being incredibly strong at the combine. Guys like that in the second tier. And you can make an argument with the wide receivers. Casey Concepcion, is he a guy that you like better? Chris Brazzell from Tennessee, who had a really good combine at wide receiver for the 6'4", listed at 6'5", but he measured there at 6'4", but still just a great combine for what he did. Jacoby Lane didn't have the numbers of Mekhi Lemon, but man, he showed out at the combine, catching everything extremely, big hands, arm length, wingspan, everything that you want to see. But he would catch the ball with his hands and not his body. It's like a true pass catcher and a guy that you can see getting open in space for the Chiefs. So that would be a very helpful thing, being able to get open and catch the football. So there was a lot of guys. Mike Washington, the running back at Arkansas, ran a 4.33. He helped his draft stock. He's probably going all the way up to running back number 3 as far as what the combine did. But the combine is still what it is. Guys show up. They may do the interviews. Some run the 40. Most don't. So it is tough to get a good read on numbers.
Tight end is a little bit further down the list in terms of positions that I'd be interested in at 9, depending on how this free agency goes for Kansas City. But Kenyon Sadiq, there's no doubt he was extremely impressive. So was Stowers. Yeah. Stowers in the vertical. Sadiq had the fastest 40 by a tight end since, 2003, I think I saw over the weekend. Do you have much interest if I told you the Chiefs address free agents, running back in free agency, if they pulled off a trade, let's say, for a defensive lineman? Can you be talked into a tight end, and maybe it's Kenyon Sadiq at 9?
Yeah, you could be talked into it, but they'd have to be extremely active on March 9th through 11th. It'd have to be a running back being brought in here. And even if they grab like a Tyler Algier, or Rico Dowdle, or a Travis Etienne, they still say, hey, we're still going to draft one in the 3rd round. Okay. But if you address the wide receiver, and let's face it, maybe making a trade might be a better possibility considered some of the talent at the top of the draft for wide receivers. That could be a situation. What if they bring in like a Bradley Chubb for the end? And so they really address these positions, and then they look and say, okay, that's by far the best player. Caleb Downs is gone. That is the best player. I could see him moving off of it. And they might be in a situation where they move off of it, depending on what they do in free agency, because, again, a lot of guys at the positions they need at the combine, the top guys, didn't exactly perform like you'd want to see.
Jay Binkley, appreciate it, man. I know last week was fun for you. You guys got a new mock coming out soon for character concerns?
Yeah, we'll do the rewind of the combine, all the fun stuff that happened, the guys that kind of blew us away with their numbers, kind of what the combine is becoming with the guys doing events or not. Should they be or should they not be doing the drills? It was kind of funny, by the way, Jeremiah Love, after he ran, he and his dad, they were not happy with the 4.36. That's one of the things you do like. Normally someone would be really happy getting a 4.36. They didn't look happy, and I like to see that kind of attitude. It's man, I could do this much better, but if you're unhappy with the 4.36, how fast are you really? Because that's impressive.
Thank you, Bink.
All right, guys. Take care.
There you go. That's Jay Binkley talking some draft with us here on Cody and Gold.
I'm naked a lot.
And I guess that happens as well for Bink. Appreciate him filling in last week. I do not know. Yeah, look, I do think how we started the conversation there, and I didn't know you guys talked about it on Friday. I think whether it was for Caleb Downs or Jeremiah Love heading into the combine, Sadiq, I guess throw him in the conversation as well. Those were guys we all knew were going to be impressive in Indianapolis.
And were impressive.
And were impressive. Yeah. And naturally, as fans, when you look at a running back, that's a fun position, number one. It just is. It's a playmaker position. And you see the gifts that he has. It's easy to get talked into that. And I'm just saying, I still believe, and we're going to talk about running backs in 15 minutes, to me, there's still free agent options out there that I think are better allocation of resource than spending the 9th overall pick on Love. And I hope Bink is correct, which is you're just going to continue to see the Chiefs try to float out there that they really will take a running back at 9. And I don't think they're willing to do it anyway. And Jeremiah Love might end up being a great player in this league. I do think there's this organization in particular after some of the prior whiffs at running back and the whiff, as we all know, with Clyde.
Yeah,
I don't think this
round.
is the organization that's taken a running back at 9.
I don't think so either. I think it's really hard when you've been burned, and it's not like defensive end, wide receiver, the ones that people will take whether you make a mistake in those selections or not. They have, by all accounts, had functional offenses with bad running backs. I understand they need more juice, and they know they need more juice. But Love, I mean, that's like swinging for the homer. I mean, that's going all the way in. And I guess part of me is, out of the elite level quarterbacks, Allen, is he the only one that has like an elite level back? Like out of the quarterback game? I guess people might have thought Chase Brown would have entered that conversation. Chase Brown had a really, really good year 2 years ago.
Lamar's had Derrick Henry, so I think that
fits for sure. I mean, Matthew Stafford has been an MVP. I mean, won the MVP. He's been a top 5-6 quarterback in football for a couple of years. I wouldn't say he has an elite back, but their backfield wasn't
really good.
Their backfield combo of Williams and Corum, not too bad at all. I would have loved that combination in the Chiefs backfield the last year or so.
I think Chase Brown probably pushes to be a top 10 back. I don't know if you'd put him in that category, but I think he's in that sort of conversation.
It's hard because if you just look at like who the best running backs on the league were last year, were they on the best teams? James Cook, yes. Derrick Henry ended up no last year, even though he was, I think, second in the NFL in rushing. He didn't end up being on a great team, but he was on a great team the year before. Then it was Jonathan Taylor and Bijan. They were on non-playoff teams.
It's the combination, and unless you're going to have the truly the top one, you kind of want the combo. This is where for the Chiefs, we talk about their running back plan. It doesn't have to just be one player. It needs to be a combination. It's why I keep throwing out Algier. Algier, to me, you pair with somebody else as well. I understand if you get Breece Hall and you maybe don't feel like you have to, or you get a Kenneth Walker, you maybe don't feel like you have to. So we'll talk backs in 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. I'll save it for that. I was going to bring something up. Anyways.
Meanwhile, over the weekend, I know you didn't get to catch a lot of the game because you were in Montreal.
Yeah.
Really, it's just more of a trend than anything else. Kansas got its ass kicked in the second half of Arizona. For some reason, you missed it like Gold did. It was.
I saw the score. I was like, what the hell happened?
Kansas was getting its ass kicked by Arizona.
From the jump almost.
But then made a tremendous run where Darren Peterson took over the game for a little while, was scoring, rebounding, distributing. He was doing everything. And they got within 10 points. And then Arizona went on like an 18-0 run or 18-3 run or whatever it was and ended up dog walking Kansas at Arizona. The one thing I'll say about this as it relates to Kansas's tournament hopes, because that's all that's left now. They are who they are. They firmly established that they hot and cold and all this other stuff is. Can they win a game that's not at Allen Fieldhouse? They have beaten a lot of very impressive opponents this year, some of the best teams in the country on Monday night at Allen Fieldhouse. Outside of those games, this team hasn't looked good at all in like 2 months. Like, it doesn't seem like they can win a game outside of Lawrence.
Did they beat Iowa State in Ames?
No, that was in Lawrence.
That was in Lawrence. They
That's
got their ass kicked in Ames.
No, if it's not at the field house, they look like a different team. Do I think also, that particular game, admittedly, I did not watch it. As you said, I was out of the country, but based off of what I've seen post and reading up on it, Arizona finally got back to full strength. Kansas had ruined their perfect season a couple weeks earlier. Felt like a bit of a perfect storm. No, I don't know exactly how. Like, did the KU just play terrible defense early? Admittedly, I did not go back and watch the whole game.
Their bigs played really bad. Flory and Tiller played really bad in that game.
But it is a legit concern. What will this team travel come March? Now, I do like seeing, it looked like Darren Peterson actually had a nice outing for Kansas. Now it's the balance. Like, the team matters more than him. But I'm just saying, that whole story, we all know ultimately in March, him being that level is going to bode well for them most times, I think. But they're a flawed team. It goes back to Kelvin Sampson's comments after the Houston win for KU. Bill Self said it, and that is they can play up and down to competition. Now, Arizona, you need to play up. They're one of the best teams in the country. They didn't get near their level of play. But that is the concern with them. They can go on a deep run in the tournament. They can win the Big 12 tournament as well, or they could get knocked out, guys, on Wednesday night or whenever they play.
It feels like teams are figuring out how to guard Darren Peterson, or just this team in general. It's not even Darren Peterson.
I mean, he shot like 20 times, but I mean, he's just shot okay.
He was 8 for 21. His if you look at the last 6 weeks, his percentages have not been particularly great. Like, he's played fine. He's played good. But I think a lot of teams are taking the stance of, we're going to make it very difficult for Darren Peterson. He's so good that it's going to work out sometimes, but we're going to make sure Darren Peterson doesn't go off in a game like where he was going to do at Oklahoma State till he pulled himself. If you limit Darren, if you let Darren score 20, fine. Let Darren score his 20, 25. If you can stop everybody else, you're going to win the game. And I think that's the way that teams have just decided to defend Kansas. I think Houston did a great job of making it hard on him. Iowa State did a great job of making it hard on Darren. And if you just look at, again, percentage-wise, it hasn't been particularly great against good teams in particular. Like if you look at the Iowa State, the Houston, the Arizona game, his shooting isn't all that
he's in a
great percentage-wise, which I think is what good teams are realizing is if you can make it difficult, particularly the good defensive ones, they got to rely on Flory.
Yeah,
they got to rely on Bryson Tiller. Trey White had a great game, otherwise they wouldn't have won the other night.
Right.
I think that there's a way that they're figuring out how to defend. Like that great player is going to score because he's a great player, but if you can limit everybody else, you're going to win the game, and that's kind of where they're stuck in. I think at this moment, they don't have anybody else, particularly off the bench.
I think some of this we have to realize the teams we're talking about them not winning on the road against, other than the one-offs, are again, the Big 12. We all agree the Big 12 is the best conference in college basketball, and we all agree that there's probably 5 teams that are legit national, maybe 4
Iowa State,
national
Arizona.
title contenders. So some of it is just, and you can say, well, that's the type of team you have to beat in the tournament. I understand that, but
it'll be neutral site, not road.
These are neutral site, and these will be these are Elite 8, Final 4
But they also
type of
at UCF, at West Virginia,
Cincinnati.
Who lost against TCU? Iowa State lost at TCU. I mean, I'm just saying that's the challenge of the Big 12. Kansas did get a road win at Texas Tech, by the way.
And that was before Toppin was hurt.
That was Toppin was available in that.
Mentioning
There's plenty of questions, and there are fair questions around them. I don't think anybody should be panicking about.
I do think Bill
the
Self
loss,
was correctly critical afterwards. Like he was like, guys were taking selfish shots. We didn't come ready, and they punched us in the mouth, and we were not playing good unified basketball, if you will, was kind of paraphrasing what he said. I thought it does feel like there was a moment too where, I don't know, obviously you didn't watch Gold. I don't know if you saw it, Cody.
I didn't.
They had a huddle. Bill Self was pissed off in the huddle. Like he was not happy.
This team annoys him.
I think he's, and not even that Darren, like talking to the media and other things like that has helped this, but it feels like just in this last little week, he feels comfortable getting in the face of some of his players even a little bit more than maybe he was 2 weeks ago, which I think just ultimately is going to help them down the stretch as we get into, of course, the Big 12 tournament and maybe even into the tournament. He doesn't feel like he's beating around the bush to get to a point. He's openly saying it with his players in the huddle, and I think that helps with the communication of everything.
Despite the fact that last year's team was significantly worse, I think this one annoys him more because he knows what it's capable of at its best.
Oh, for sure.
Because at its best, it has legitimately beaten some of the best teams in the entire country. But last year's team was never going to accomplish any of those.
Yeah,
things,
what you just said though is the same thing, which is the ceiling. They can beat anybody. They can lose to just about anybody. That's where the frustration.
That's a lot of teams this year too. A lot of them. Iowa State included.
Now I will say, like, annoyed maybe is the right word, because I actually think he hated last year's team. I think he actually loves this year's team. I really do.
I do. I think that's why it annoys him more. It's you're like it's just like not turning in the work. I totally agree with you. I think he really likes the players in the group. He's frustrated that they haven't just like had it all click for 3 straight weeks with no questions.
I think that makes
How do they not lose a basketball game, but like not just like get walked over in the second half against Arizona.
That makes the tournament, like outside of maybe Duke, Michigan, and Arizona, and even they've slipped up. Like tournament is going to be absolutely insane.
Cannot wait. We are in the month of March, man. It's here. March Madness is just weeks away. Selection Sunday, a couple Sundays away. Up next, let's talk more about the running backs, including a running back in the NFL that just got traded this morning. I think the compensation is a bit steep. I don't know if I would want the Chiefs to have made this trade. We'll explain what it looked like next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in for the Fan Club every Friday at 1, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
We're just talking some college hoops and what happened over the weekend. In college basketball, it's nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every night, and now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. So here's how it works. You build out any college hoops parlay you like, the early tip or the rivalry game, the ranked matchup, the late night West Coast shootout, you name it. Then you mix spreads, totals, props, whatever fits your read of the slate. Then you just apply your profit boost and instantly bump up that potential payout. So you can go safe, you can go spicy, you can go with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable Boost Builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hop in a John Deere Gator XUV for a day's work. Let's see what's on the to-do list. There goes the tree. And the fence. Not a problem. Because you've got a cargo box filled with solutions. Up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you're ready to roll.
The power's out!
Here we go again. The Gator XUV. Built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
Some flavors just take you to another place. Like the Filet-O-Fish, a crispy fish fillet made with wild-caught Alaskan pollock on melty American cheese topped with tartar sauce, all on a soft, steamed bun. It's crispy, flaky perfection. And right now, I can mix and match two favorites, like a Filet-O-Fish or 10-piece Chicken McNuggets for just $6. This duo is the catch of the day. So get to McDonald's fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Drew Brees here. Whether you're on the field or on the road, having the right team on your side makes all the difference. I learned that the hard way. On the field, you don't go anywhere without a solid O-line. And when your car breaks down, you want that same kind of protection. That's why I trust CarShield. Their protection plans help you tackle expensive repairs so that you're not blindsided.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $36.99. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you're looking for more NFL draft coverage, go subscribe and follow the Character Concerns podcast with Bink and Chris on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on a Monday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 20 minutes or so. But there was a trade that just went down in the NFL in the last hour. We briefly touched on it. I want to talk more about the running backs, we were already planning on discussing David Montgomery, but he's off the board now. He is now a member
He was only on the board for like 12 hours.
Yeah, he's now a member of the Houston Texans. So it was originally reported by Adam Schefter that the Texans had traded for David Montgomery for a 5th-round pick. But the updated compensation is the Texans get the veteran running back, David Montgomery. The Lions, I think, got a great haul back.
I do too.
4th-round pick, an offensive lineman, Juice Scruggs, great name, and a 7th-round pick. And a 7th-rounder is a throw-in, but all right. David Montgomery's 29 years old, or will be by the start of the season, I should say.
Yeah. That's all.
Really effective running back. Great 1-2 punch with him and Gibbs. I think it's a really strong trade for the Lions. Obviously, here in Kansas City, the question is, would you have given up the same type of compensation to just get David Montgomery? I would say no. I would not want to, for a 29-year-old back, and his style of back, by the way, again, they trade for David Montgomery. They didn't trade for Jahmyr Gibbs, okay? They trade for David Montgomery, who's very good, but he's not the best back in their own backfield that they had there by any means.
No.
Houston's run game was a struggle. They signed Joe Mixon. He never played. They had Damian Pierce. They cut him. He's now in Kansas City. They had, Woody Marks in there that was effective for a couple weeks as well. Their offensive line, maybe you want to blame it on them. Their run block win rate was 32nd in the NFL. It was terrible. I would not have given up a 4th-round pick and a 7th and let's call it the Chiefs' 2nd or 3rd offensive lineman in the depth spot at I think it was a guard they traded for.
Based on talent and production, career yards per carry, this would be like a team giving this up for Isaiah Pacheco. Like, by the way, would be a logical fit in Detroit if he's no longer a member of the Chiefs as a direct replacement for David Montgomery. And he'll be available for a few $1 million and not a 4th-round pick. That's why I can't understand this. If you wanted a date, I'm not kidding. All the stats, like the periphery stats, like we're tired of Pacheco here because they haven't had much of a run game. 716 yards on 158 carries, 775 yards on 185 carries. It's not way different than what Pacheco has done.
I guess for me,
Pacheco's at 1,000-yard or near that, not quite, a 950-yard season.
Yeah,
you know?
This is not like, well, what would you have been willing to give up? I think for me, with Montgomery, right now as it sits on March 2nd, there's other options that are still available that don't require draft picks that I don't think are huge shifts from what I believe Montgomery is going to be moving forward. Because 28-year-old, 27-year-old David Montgomery, absolute 29-year-old, you start getting there, and I gave up draft pick compensation, I get concerned. Technically, Kenneth Walker is still available. I know I keep mentioning his name. You mentioned Etienne, Algier,
Dowdle,
Rashad White. And David Montgomery is better than Rashad White. I'm not trying to make the case that Rashad White or Algier have had better careers. It is still the combination of what you think you're going to get and then the value of what I'm getting at the position. If the Chiefs signed, David Montgomery, would you think that they're just good to go?
No.
I would traded for David Montgomery, I'm sorry?
No, I would think they would have to also use a draft pick in order to pair him up. And look, I don't think it'd be bad.
Yeah, I think it's a great trade for the Lions.
But Aaron Jones is reportedly going to be a free agent. Najee Harris, Etienne, Dowdle, maybe Hall on a transition tag, which means maybe you could still at least try to sign him. Kenneth Walker hasn't signed with Seattle. Dobbins, part of me is just, I don't understand the attitude of an NFL team to give up what I think is too good a value for David Montgomery when David Montgomery-esque players are available. Like, this isn't one of those cases where we're saying, who are you going to get? There are still 5 to 7 backs, at least within the quality range of David Montgomery. And I hate to just say this is the way the NFL works. You got like a 25% chance if you take a running back with that 4th-round pick of getting a running back of the quality of David Montgomery. It's not even that big of a stretch. You probably got a 1 in 4 shot.
The Lions will probably use that pick they got to draft.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
you got like a shot of finding a player of that quality.
I was trying to see, do the Texans just have a ton of picks? Is that why? So the Texans have still their 1st-round pick this year. They have 2 2nd-round picks. They own the Commanders' 2nd-round pick, which ended up being better than they thought. That was the Tunsil trade. They also got a 2nd-round pick back for the Tunsil trade. So they have a 1st, 2 seconds, the Giants' 3rd-round pick, the Commanders' 4th-round pick. So they have 2 4th-round picks already. So maybe that's why guys they were willing to do more. They are the 4th-round pick they traded. I don't know if it was their 4th-round pick or if
They've
it was
got extra.
the Commanders.
So
they have 2 5th-round
But,
picks. They don't have a 6th. They had a 7th from the Niners. They picked up an additional, or they gave away their 7th-round pick.
So for them, it's Woody Marks and David Montgomery, essentially?
Yep.
I guess, but boy, what an uninspiring.
With a
duo
quarterback
for a team
that
that's
they're trying to make life easier for because he's struggling.
Look, let me
They
just
need
point out,
offensive line help.
we all think, and this is why I mentioned Isaiah Pacheco, we all think he's going to be a free agent.
Oh, well, yeah, he's not coming back. His time in Kansas City is done.
David Montgomery in his career averages 4.1 yards per carry and 58.2 yards per game. Isaiah Pacheco has 4.4 yards per carry and 50 yards per game. If you look at like any of the years, 170 carries, his first 2 years, 170, 205, 830, 935. It's like identical to what David Montgomery has been doing borderline identical to what David Montgomery has been doing.
I think the reason
in
that
Detroit.
people,
Why not just sign Pacheco?
I think the reason people view David Montgomery different though is because the touchdown numbers get enhanced because it's how they use him, and then
back-to-back double-digit touchdown seasons.
He also they
to me those are like pitcher wins,
but it's their scheme too. Like they run in Detroit. They ran a scheme that they were going to run the ball and it was going to be efficient and they were going to rely on those 2 backs. It felt obviously that's different.
Playmakers all over the field too.
Yeah. Obviously, I think that it's different in Kansas City, of course, with how they do that. I thought so. Gold, you weren't here. I pitched this to Cody because a lot of we've talked about the money. Like how much is it going to take to pay a Kenneth Walker, somebody like that, or even a Breece Hall? Like how much money is that compared to what you would pay Jeremiah Love? Because we talk about that playmaker running back. You're going to pay roughly a similar amount of money for both of them. So why not get the back that is better, I think, in terms of getting Jeremiah Love to have that playmaker to pair with whatever.
Because I got to spend pick 9.
But that was so. And Cody, you came back with, would you rather have Jeremiah Love and then I forget who you said, Jeremiah Love and then somebody else, or Caleb Downs and then pair with a free agent running back, or whatever the case it was. I can't remember.
The example I gave was like at pick 9. Essentially, it's like, would you rather have, because for the price, would you rather have Etienne and Reuben Bain or Bailey, or would you rather have Love and like, I think in this case it was like the free agent defensive end quality. It was like Boye.
No, I would take the rookie to again. It's a positional value thing.
Me too.
Because the money is technically less for Jeremiah Love than you would pay a Breece Hall or somebody like that. But
not by much though.
But in turn, it doesn't end up. It becomes more of a wash financially. So you would take the talent that you need more at the edge spot.
We're on the same page. I mean, a free agent defensive lineman, hard to find, but they're going to cost you more,
right?
Than if I can find. Hopefully, you nail the draft pick right, and you find the rookie at 9 that's a defensive lineman and has a high ceiling in what I'm paying there. I'm just getting more value for selecting a defensive player at 9 than I am running back. I just am. It's just the way the market is working. So I am, you guys know from going back to January, like I am pretty firmly on don't draft Jeremiah Love at 9, and it's not even about like him. It's just
about running back.
It is more about running back, and it happens to be a year where there's plenty of options in free agency. There really are. I understand like people are getting nervous because Breece Hall may not be truly available, and David Montgomery just got traded. But we found out Aaron Jones is also another name. He's old though. He would have to be paired with 1 or 2 other guys is the problem.
2 times in the last 4 years, Aaron Jones has had more yards per carry and yardage than David Montgomery's ever had in his best year. So, like, even at his age, 2 times in the last 4 years, he's bested David Montgomery's career years. So, like, again, it's not
12 games this year.
But for us, I need him to be a back paired with Rashard Smith and a guy taken in the 3rd round. I don't need Aaron Jones to be good forever. I need Aaron Jones to be good for a year.
Aaron Jones is hurt all the time. I would stay away from Aaron Jones.
Yeah, 12 games this year. That's the first thing that came to mind for me as well. Is he played 12? He did 17 the year before. Then it was 11 prior to that. He's definitely not your 2-year solution or 3-year solution.
I really think that if there's,
I was going to point out he's been a far more successful back than the one we just talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, for sure. I mean, Aaron Jones, over the course of his career, was great. But do you think Breece Hall is going back to the Jets? That's what it kind of with the
on a transition tag.
I think the only which this is where again maybe it's the Jeremiah Love in terms of what he can be sort of thing in comparison to you guys mentioned the elite quarterbacks. He is more of a James Cook than any of the other guys that you're going to take. He's more of a Jahmyr Gibbs than any of the other guys. He's more of a Chase Brown because we know he's like the complete package. You know, outside of Derrick Henry, we talked about the elite backs. They can do it all. I think that's the only one that I would take in free agency now that I think could fill that role in a way is Travis Etienne. I don't think anybody else fills that where you're talking about, Cody. You don't need to sign a free agent and also draft one in the same breath.
I think this is
other
part
than
of
Jeremiah Love or Travis Etienne.
Part of the problem with talking about guys at the David Montgomery, Tyler Algier level is we just want a new name, not a different name. Because for the same argument, go to taking with someone in the third round and all the arguments I gave you, you can make the argument that the best path forward is just bringing back Pacheco and drafting a running back.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't think so.
That's not way different than bringing in Algier.
Yeah, I disagree.
From an age and production standpoint, there's not like a massive drop-off between
the same thing with Hunt, too, correct? Because they're going to bring back...
Not Hunt. There's a drop-off.
To me, there's a difference. Pacheco is the lead back. Algier's never been the lead back. He doesn't have as much wear and tear on him. He's been healthy. Pacheco, to me, post-injury, was never the same running back. And as great as fun it was his rookie year when he ended up getting the job from Clyde and the excitement around that, he just fizzled out, man. He just fizzled out, and then his flaws were exposed.
I bet they've got a very similar number of carries, I guess.
So Tyler Algier reportedly wanted 3 for 22.
It means he'd take 3 for 15, but yeah.
Is that is
different than I think.
Are you comfortable giving him 3 for 15 given what you're saying?
Yeah,
because it's only 2 years, really. It's really a 2-year
Boy,
contract.
they're actually a really good comp. Algier's 25, Pacheco's 26, or at least were last season, so a year older for each.
Yeah.
Pacheco's averaged 4.4 yards per carry. Algier's averaged 4.3. Algier's carried the ball 676 times. Pacheco just 576 times because obviously the injury last year and for part of,
He only played 7 games in 2024.
2024, he was quite hurt. Algier's been very healthy.
He's played in almost every game in his career.
He has. Yeah, he's healthy. But you know what I'm saying? Like, from a production standpoint, there's not some this is like the Montgomery, Algier.
Yeah.
Like, these are like the ranges are similar. And I guess for the money we're talking about, Pacheco would be cheaper. You know, you'd be banking on health, and I'd still have to draft a guy. And look, I'm not saying bring back Pacheco. I'd be more interested in Algier. I just don't think it's as far. I want one of the upper end guys, so I'm not stuck in what feels like similar. That's why I wouldn't give it up.
Well, Algier has never been the hey, sign Algier and everything is fixed. That's never been my point. It's been Algier plus somebody else. Pacheco, I do feel like we're glossing. I feel like we're glossing over. Some of the stuff is a big deal. Pacheco, a year older, injury history, the flaws and just his running style. I think we kind of know it is time to move on. It is time to you've maxed out what you got from him. I don't think Algier has been maxed out by the Falcons. And again, Algier with somebody else. He doesn't need, I don't think Tyler Algier is just going to be the lead back and everything's going to be solved for this team.
I do really think too, if you're going to bring in Algier, you have to go under center more. The shotgun stuff with Algier's guy, he is not a shotgun guy. I think that also is part of the equation as well, because stylistically, how are they compared to what they've had before? Like Tyler Algier, even David Montgomery. David Montgomery's not a shotgun back. Like that's Jahmyr Gibbs. I think part of also the conversation around running back is the running back good enough to help alleviate some pressure off of Patrick Mahomes? And I don't know if there's anybody in free agency that does that.
I think there are some of that. Walker and Etienne specifically.
Sure. I mean, if you want to, but I mean, would you rather pay Walker that money or draft the guy that you have control over for 4 years instead of...
Again,
I think that's part of the conversation where I think maybe Kenneth Walker, maybe Etienne, but Jeremiah Love, based on what he does, he's going to alleviate pressure off of Patrick Mahomes to have to do everything.
But I understand that, but I can't solve defensive line with money. Not the amount of money I would spend on Walker. And this is where just I don't think it's as crazy as someone's making it. Like on the 402, they said, tell me they're not comparing him. Isaiah does not have running back vision. Let me just ask you this. From a comparison standpoint, they play on different teams in fairness. Bijan has no problems getting 87 yards a carry under the Atlanta offensive line.
He's also the second best running back in football.
Tyler Algier averages less yards per carry than Isaiah Pacheco. Maybe he's got a vision problem. You just don't see it because we don't watch him play as much. Isaiah Pacheco, when on the field, is as productive as Algier.
Now we're making it again. My whole thing with Algier is he's not a top 5 back in football. I've never made the case
No.
that Algiers. That's never been my point. I'm just saying Isaiah Pacheco, the injury and the wear and tear, I think, has clearly degraded his performance. Yeah. And then, we know the vision is a problem. Do we know everything about Tyler Algier? No, there's a reason why he's been a backup in this league, that they drafted him. They drafted him the year before they drafted Robinson. So they clearly were not
1,000 yards, and then they still went back and
correct.
Bijan's great.
And there's a reason why Algier is also only going to get 3 years for $12 or $15 million. Like I'm that's what I'm trying to make understand. The Algier thing is not as if I just think he's going to come in and be the best running back the Chiefs have had in 20 years. That's not the point. I would say the same thing. Like, if ETN comes in, I don't think ETN can just be the guy that gets 99% of the carries. That doesn't happen either. There is no Bijan Robinson to go and get. Now, you might want to argue, well, there is, and his name's Jeremiah Love in the draft.
Someone is definitely going to argue that.
Someone says our logic is dumb on not drafting Love. That's fine. We can disagree. This is why draft talk is fun and free agency is fun. My stance on Love, we've just said over and over. I don't think the value fits what it's going to cost me at 9 versus going and getting a running back or 2. I think I can get similar production in an Andy Reid offense. If this was a different head coach, a different scheme without Patrick Mahomes, hell yeah, go draft Jeremiah Love. Absolutely. Run heavy team, all of that. If this was 20 years ago, all of that. The Chiefs, to me, are not going to get the full use out of Jeremiah Love anyway, just the style they play.
Pick at 9,
so it doesn't make any sense, not to mention the cost part. Anyway, we will certainly talk more Jeremiah Love for the next couple months as we get closer to the draft in Pittsburgh. Let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
One more thing I do have to address on the text line because it's just inaccurate. You want the Chiefs to pass on taking the best player in the draft. Jeremiah Love is not the best player in the draft. We might find out as time goes on. Like, right this second, you cannot honestly tell me he's the best player in the draft. By that logic, it might actually be Caleb Downs.
I think it is Caleb Downs.
Matt Miller said
pound
it's
for
Downs.
pound.
Florida man. He was arrested. He was using those packets to steal thousands of dollars worth of trading cards at Target and Walmart. So he allegedly would grab large boxes of trading cards along with the exact same equal number of seasoning packets, and then he only scanned the cheap seasoning packets at self-checkout. And he pulled off the scheme, they said, about 75 times, starting from July of this summer until early February, racked up more than $10,000 in losses for the stores, and he made nearly $40,000 from selling the stolen cards on eBay. He faces charges of felony, organized retail theft, stolen property, money laundering, possible sentence of up to 90 years in prison.
90
So he was just
years?
scanning the 99-cent taco packets.
Look, I mean, he should definitely be in trouble. 90 years feels a little crazy. But $10,000 in losses is nuts.
How did it take him that long? He got to do it 75 times before they caught on that this was the dude doing it?
Boy, at that point, you probably do feel invincible for a while. You just keep
He just thought he
scanning
had the
these
greatest
taco
scam ever.
packets and keep looking for stuff. And, like, I guess he never got, like, he needed the $1 million card hit. He could have moved to some, beach somewhere and tried to escape all this before they figured it out.
Yeah.
It's weird. I prefer still the self-checkout because I feel like I can move faster than the
100%.
regular line. I'm trying to operate with
do you push the
ruthless
limit
efficiency.
over the 12 items or less sign? Do you just ignore it?
For the most part,
like I do.
Look, if it's way over, you just got to go to line, right? If it's 15 to 18, I think you're cool. You got 35 things in there. You got to
you go to a Target on a random Wednesday night at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Sometimes there's only one regular lane open. Anyway, you're forced to go to self-checkout. So whether you got 5 items or 25 items, you might have to go there.
But I went to Target over the weekend and picked something up, and I walked past a fully empty, nobody in line, checkout line with a person there.
Wow.
And went to the self-checkout to just do it myself.
You didn't want to interact with the person, is that what it sounds like to me.
But I walked, it was empty. There wasn't a soul waiting. I could have walked right up. They'd order my stuff. But I bypassed and went straight to the self-checkout.
That person probably is glad you didn't come into their line either. They got to relax a little bit.
Kick it.
We were talking about this off air earlier with the trash of the day. Like, this guy basically scanning a different, the taco seasoning packets as if they were the boxes he was scanning. This was, when I lived in Houston, this was on the news all the time. I don't know, maybe it was here too, but this was in 2018. There was a real problem when self-checkout was first starting. And there was like a website, this is on the news, that people would use, they would print off like barcodes. And they would sticker them, I guess.
For less,
on a box of it. I mean, anything. Electronic, a vacuum, microwave, whatever. And they would do basically what this guy did. And this was a huge problem. And they finally figured out like what was going on.
How much stuff do you think you've not scanned in your life?
Not much. I'm sure I've missed items.
Of items a year, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I've recognized it as I go to load stuff in the car every once in a while. And you're like, ooh, I don't think I scanned that. Do you think I'm walking back in? Nah. What's done is done at that point. I don't know if you guys operate that way, but it's like, what's done is done. I'm not going back in.
Depending on the item. I mean, if it's because
like a TV.
If it's because you misweighed 3 bananas, you're not going to go back in the store. You know, there's a little bit different.
Or if I forgot the pack of battery. Like, I swear to God, 2 weeks ago, it was like a small, like $7 pack of batteries. And like one of my kids was sitting in the cart and I missed them. And I got up to the cart and they were there. I'm like, these are my batteries now. What are we going to go back in?
Yeah.
Walk all the way back in to scan them? Leave them in the parking lot? It's crazy.
People are convinced, Cody, you're purposely ringing up the Red Delicious apples, which are cheaper than maybe the Granny Smiths or
like
Honey Crisp. Yeah.
Or Fuji sometimes.
Fuji's good. Fuji's a solid apple. Yeah.
It's a good apple for a good price, you know?
Yeah. I
like the Cosmic.
It's been a while
Crisp
since
too.
I just went and bought an apple at the store, if I'm being honest. But yeah. So people calling you a career criminal, stealing trash cans.
That one was an accident. That was an innocent mistake.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, once it got home,
you gotta watch. People are saying you gotta watch out, man. FBI's into you with the illegal poker games.
Get out of here.
Now petty theft.
Get out of here.
I mean, man.
Petty theft.
You gotta
come after me with those batteries.
You gotta be careful, man.
For your batteries. Yeah.
There's a continued trend. You're only ringing up, one of these bananas every single time you go. You know, instead of the full bundle.
It's just the idea of having to go back in there and be like, hey, I didn't scan these batteries. I'd rather just chuck them in the store and run away. There's no way I'm repurchasing them. I would say that, right? I'm just going to let those go. I could actively need them, Drew. I'm not going to go back through the checkout process to buy them. I'd rather just leave them inside the store.
Is it embarrassing for you? Is that what it is, or what exactly?
I've just completed the transaction. I'm not redoing this.
I mean, there's some people that believe, it doesn't mean it's correct, but a lot of people texting in saying like, look, I don't get paid to be the cashier. If I make a mistake happens.
Yeah, I'm not trained.
It's
not intentional. I'm not doing it with any kind of malice. They must, and a cashier can make a mistake too. I also picked something up at Lowe's, and the cashier tried to, wouldn't ring in. A million times, came over, tried to help, look it up in the system, wouldn't ring up. And then eventually they're like, how much was this thing? I mean, legit, it was like $1.80. And then they just scanned something that was 80 cents 4 times and said, just get the hell out of here.
There are stores though. I don't want to name them on air because I don't know 100%. I believe there's a couple grocery stores, at least one chain, that got rid of self checkout because theft became such a problem.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
They had to do that. All right, up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. Let's talk about a wide receiver that is going to be available, and he has criteria for his next team. Do the Chiefs fit all those spots on the list? We'll tell you that. Plus, it's post-combine, so we got a new mock draft next.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Missouri, get ready. Circus Sports is giving you the chance to win owner Derek Stevens' wallet. From February 3rd to March 15th, you can take home your share of $250,000 in cash. Simply wager $100 and earn 1 share, wager $1,000 to earn 2 shares, wager $5,000 for a 3rd share. Bet on anything from pro sports to college, straight bets to futures. Don't miss your chance to cash in and take home your share of Derek's wallet. Visit circusports.com for details. Must be 21 and older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
I hope you are sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and is 30 to 60% lower cost than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you're a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Matt B in KC for an instant quote over the phone. 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Discover a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler at Shane Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, never with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship, because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
That sound? Yeah, that's not a good sign. Hey, it's Drew Brees. And when your car starts making noises like that, a big repair bill might be coming right at you. But with CarShield, you don't have to fear unexpected breakdowns. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. I spent my career making tough calls, but this one is simple.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold. We'll be talking Chiefs, and we'll get into some Royals baseball again coming up in the noon hour, including a new outfielder, part of the mix at least, for the rest of spring training and ultimately heading into opening day, as of course Royals baseball right here on 96.5 The Fan. But there's a wide receiver that has come up multiple times over the last few years, Mike Evans. He chose to stay in Tampa last year. We know he is a free agent this year, and there seems to be a lot of momentum that he's not going back to Tampa. And we've talked about the possibility of why you would be interested in Mike Evans, why you wouldn't be interested in Mike Evans. Well, Jeremy Fowler put out a list of what he is hearing that he wants in the next team.
His checklist of things.
Now, we have seen these before, and then you're like, huh?
Oh, yeah. I remember once DeAndre Hopkins talking about wanting to play for a Super Bowl champion and then signed with the Titans. Yeah. Now, I think Mike Evans is far more likely at his stage of his career to actually mean some of that, I guess, rather than biggest check from biggest team.
So here's the criteria for Mike Evans. 1, a quarterback he believes in. Well, okay.
All right.
I think I would say they're good there.
I mean, if he doesn't believe in Patrick Mahomes, who the hell does he believe in? I'm sorry, but
chance at a Super Bowl. Now,
Kansas City goes to a lot of them.
You got to change. You know my opinion. I think they're more positioned to be a playoff team than like one of the top teams in the AFC. But that eliminates if you're going based off
of 5 teams maybe ahead of them is a better Super Bowl chance, though.
Top shelf OC. Now Andy Reid's basically that. So that's
how
tricky.
You view it.
That's tricky. I would say that's Andy Reid though. I understand Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I don't think it quite qualifies.
And here's
a half
this
check.
last one is the interesting one. Promise. That doesn't mean you have to check every single box, I guess, but promise of a high volume in touches. And in this offense, if Travis Kelce's back, if Rashee Rice doesn't get suspended,
seems unlikely.
I agree. If he's available, then are there a high volume of targets? Now, if Rice is suspended, then absolutely.
If Rice is suspended and Travis retires, you can have 7,000 career targets, and you can have as many targets as you want in this offense.
I've told you my interest in Mike Evans changes if Travis Kelce doesn't come back.
Of course.
If Travis Kelce doesn't come back, then by all means, find a way to get a deal done with Mike Evans. My hesitation with Evans is if you're already bringing back Travis at his age, and you're going through, you're just for 1 year, you're gonna have Mike Evans and Travis Kelce for 1 year for what? I don't think it makes a ton of sense. And Mike Evans, I'm a little concerned, and you guys can say that you said the same thing about David Montgomery, but I think there's a history here suddenly with Mike Evans, and that is I'm worried we're jumping on the ship here when it's falling apart already.
A little too late.
Look at the last 2 years. This year, 8 games played. That was it. Last year, prior to that, he had 1,000 yards, so nothing to be ashamed of. 14 games. I'm just wondering, as he'll soon turn 33, are we now going to start seeing a guy that's never playing a full season again?
It's just hard because if I gave you those list of things, the Chiefs are one of the best fits. The only ones I would make an argument for that are better fits that QB believes in, chance at a Super Bowl, top shelf OC, and high volume of touches. Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots might be the only other two. They're also getting half checks on the top shelf OC part, maybe missing it entirely because they got a brand new head coach there and you really don't know necessarily what you're getting there. But the volume of touches, those are borderline versus Kansas City, where there is at least some question about how those touches would be split if Rice were back, if Kelsey's back, and all that. In Buffalo, Mike Evans is immediately the number one option. And I think if someone like New England went after Mike Evans, bye-bye Stephon Diggs, and you're immediately the number one option there too. You're not competing with anyone for targets in either of those places. So I guess it depends on how, and I would think quarterback he believes in, Drake May and Josh Allen, should still qualify under that category. No more or less than Baker Mayfield does, right? Based on what that is. Drake May, even if he did have a bad playoff run, you would still think there's plenty of people who are like, no, that's just a bad playoff run because he didn't have weapons, and Mike Evans will solve that. But that's kind of it. How many other teams check? I mean, they check at least 3. If it was a half check for top shelf OC for the Chiefs and a half for promise of high volume of targets, if he has a checklist that he wants 4 things, I think they're pretty much getting him to 3.
Now, I don't think they have room for him in Jacksonville, but Liam Cohen was in Tampa with Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Now, I don't. Again,
that would come with the Brian Thomas Jr. trade.
That'd be the Brian Thomas Jr. trade. Yeah, because they're not going to have Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Parker Washington, and Jacoby Myers. I mean, that would be kind of crazy. But if you traded Brian Thomas,
that always goes back to, and this is the problem with wide receiver. Evans, unless it's Travis Kelce, feels like a stopgap in the I still need to know who Patrick Mahomes, and this is a problem. We used to talk about this with tackle, and now it's their biggest. I think it should be the biggest question they're asking themselves internally as an organization. When they sit down for their offseason meetings, before they hit free agency, before they hit the draft, and free agency is in like 9 days or something, I don't know, 8 days. When they have those and sit down with those conversations, the single biggest question they should be asking themselves for the long term ability of this team is, who is Patrick Mahomes' number 1 target for the bulk of this stage of his career? Right now, there is no answer. Mike Evans wouldn't solve that. Travis Kelce doesn't solve that.
Not on the roster.
Don't know if, unless Xavier Worthy's getting ready to take a huge leap forward, or Rashee Rice is ready to stop getting in trouble, and take a huge leap forward. So, like, both things. Then, yeah, you're right. It's not on the roster. That goes back to 9 and all this other stuff and the draft pick selections. But, like, Evans is really just, like, holding it together for a while we continue to
it's probably a 2-year deal.
Who's eventually it's going to be.
I'd be shocked if someone would. I shouldn't say shocked. I would not want to give Mike Evans a 3-year deal. That's basically a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to give him a 2-year deal, though, of guaranteed money. Or a good chunk of it, guaranteed, I should say, moving forward. I think someone said maybe the Rams. I don't think the Rams make sense for Mike Evans. You talk about high volume of touches. He's getting touches. Mike Evans and Puka, and Devontae Adams, where are the touches coming there?
No. I don't, again, depending on the team, tell me the team that's got more targets available right now.
Yeah, I agree with you on Buffalo.
The Chiefs
are
pretty high in the available targets category.
Buffalo and New England make a lot of sense there. I think this applies to the A.J. Brown trade, too. That's the part of this. What does Mike Evans sign before an A.J. Brown trade, and how does that impact the market?
He could get more targets in Vegas, but,
a quarterback he believes in. He's a big Mendoza fan.
You're not getting any of the other 3 things, right?
What about Green Bay? If they move on from Romeo Doubs.
I'm with you. They just don't normally sign big-time free agents in Green Bay. That's always been a thing.
Yeah, they don't. And I also, there's a part of me that genuinely believes that Mike Evans at his age, Kansas City's cold. I don't think he'll go to.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too. I'm sure it is.
I do not think he will go to Green Bay, Chicago.
We played the audio of his wife.
I know Buffalo, but there is a part of it where I just don't feel like.
Yeah, she wants to.
We played the audio. His wife a year ago clearly is heavily involved in his decision-making process. Now, I'm not going to claim I know who his wife is. My point is, does she want to go? She wanted to stay in Tampa. She loved it there. She wants to go to Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Probably not. But she probably wouldn't be up there except for I don't know.
I don't know, right? Someone mentions the Chargers. Quarterback he believes in. Maybe he believes in Justin. Top flight OC. Mike McDaniel checks that
box. Is
Keenan
Allen still there, or is he a free agent?
He's a free agent. High volume of targets. Could be there. Could. That's an interesting spot. I'll listen to that one. That actually is not a bad name to throw in the mix as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad one. But again, it's all just and look, this is why I mentioned Allen and Mahomes. He's going to be tempted by one of these places. He's not ring hunting as in he has a ring.
He does.
But I think it's pretty clear the majority of his career. I don't think he wants to just go to some team that gives him no chance to win. Yeah. It's maybe not priority 1 because otherwise he wouldn't have stuck in Tampa forever. Because there were some lull years in Tampa when winning a Super Bowl wasn't real high on the list, right? Mm-hmm. The bridge years between Tom Brady and Baker, those couple years when they were starting Jameis or whatever, they weren't exactly getting it done during that time, right? There wasn't a high probability of winning the whole thing. But he was paid well and he got a lot of targets and he got to live where he liked it and he was under contract.
Can I give you a long shot dark horse team that I actually think would be fascinating if they did it, just to pair them up with? The issue is the quarterback to believe in part. New York Giants. You tell me they have Malik Neighbors with Mike Evans,
That'd be a
Cam
good fit.
Scattaboo,
That'd be fun.
plus rumors they want to sign Kenneth Walker or draft Jeremiah Love. That in New York with Jackson Dart, that's fun.
They're trying to
That's a lot of fun. A lot of fun with Harbaugh, Matt Nagy's the OC. That'd be interesting.
So who'd be part of that trade? Would it be like, or no, it'd be free agent?
No trade. No, that's what I'm saying. Malik Neighbors with Malik Neighbors can learn from Mike Evans a little bit. Jackson Dart's got 2 legit wide receivers. A backfield. A good
backfield.
I mean,
probably.
I'm just saying. You know?
Look, I would say if they put that team on paper, you would think that they have a good chance at being successful this year. So we'll see. Someone says he's going to be a Texan. I'm like, I mean, Texans do not check the
help, but I mean,
I'll say this.
Their
OCs suck.
Quarterback you believe in. Chance of winning a Super Bowl. Top shelf OC.
No.
Promise a high volume of touches. Fine. He's got that in Houston.
I guess.
They can spend their money elsewhere.
I guess that is the last thing on this before we get to our post-combine mock draft. The real question is, do you believe Mike Evans? Because that's the difference you mentioned right at the beginning. I saw DeAndre Hopkins once put out a very serious list like this, like he meant it, and he signed with the Titans.
Money,
and Will Levis was the starting quarterback at the time. So let me assure you, he didn't mean any of it. He meant who has the most zeros on my check.
And if
that
they
will be
happen,
the team I sign with. You know?
And if they happen to have the other stuff, ultimately, if someone's willing to offer him a 3-year deal, and everybody else is only offering him a 2, he's probably going to say, "Well, shoot, you know, there's a little more money attached to that." I don't blame anybody. I get it.
This would be a weird spot, I guess, too. Real quick. With the Colts, you're not spending as much money on quarterback. I mean, you're paying Daniel Jones, but you could lose Alec Pierce.
Gross.
Him and Pittman. I don't think that appeals to him, but I know. I mean, obviously, how good they were.
Just like running into each other at 8-yard in cuts. Like, there's just part of it where it just doesn't feel like it fits. I don't disagree, Drew, in the sense that
him and Neighbors are relatively similar, to be quite honest.
I guess anymore it's like they run like both outside wide receiver sets. They're just different talent, I guess, in that end. And we don't know what they're going to get out of Neighbors this year. Sometimes, though, I agree with this sense, which is I do not think it's the worst strategy for like a guy like Jackson Dart to, you find out.
Load him up.
You find out. You give him a great offensive line and a million weapons. Figure out how to be a Super Bowl contender later.
Is their line
Find
good?
out if you have the quarterback first. No, their line's mediocre. But find out if you have the quarterback first. That's like the key one to winning it all is find out if you got that guy.
Well, the draft can certainly help. That is the mock draft standard. It's the first one post-combine week, so there's been a lot of overreaction and groupthink, media love based off of someone's 40-yard dash.
Oh, yeah. And one of the guys, so we're going to go to Arrowhead Addict, who put out a 5-round mock draft. By the way, the 5 rounds are all that they have. They don't have any 6th or 7th round picks, I believe. That's
probably why they did 5.
Based on some research. So Price Carter was the one who wrote this one. We'll give credit to him for this. Speaking of wide receivers who run 40s that people are questioning, Carnell Tate at number 9. Ring. 4.53 paired with the 1.1 10-yard split. Caught some teams off guard, according to Price, but Tate appears much faster on film. Was a big field stretcher for the Buckeyes. That's why, paired with some long speed questions as well as other names rising, there's a chance that Tate is available at 9 for the Chiefs.
So maybe I'm in the minority here on this. Look, if you already were not a fan of Carnell Tate, then
boy, did that secure it.
Then it secures it. Sure. I guess for me, I don't have the same freak out reaction to his 40 time being disappointing as others do. Like, if Carnell Tate was who you thought they should take at 9, I'm not scared off by the 40-yard dash. There's other reasons why I don't know if I want him at 9. We've talked about Ohio State and the wide receiver room and everything that exists there.
He's never been a number 1 at Ohio State.
Those, to me, that stuff matters more than, hey, look, his 40-yard dash time was not as impressive. We've talked so much about like the speedster guys and all that. Exactly. In Kansas City.
At wide receiver, anyway.
Exactly. So I get the reaction because we all focus in on the 40-yard dash and everybody wants to know who's fast. I mean, it's just it's stuff that we can seems more tangible for all of us. Like if I tell you someone ran a 4.340, like you kind of know what that means. And I just think it's a bit of an overreaction. My opinion on Carnell Tate really didn't change in the last 72 hours.
I'm going to ask you, Gold, the same question I asked Cody. Would you, if you could guarantee that Carnell Tate was T. Higgins, would you take him at 9?
Not at 9.
If you could guarantee that he was T. Higgins.
Guaranteeing Rasheed Rice healthy.
Not at 9,
because
if I was picking 17th, sure.
40, that
Well,
pick,
40
sure.
would be, of course.
40 is about where T got selected. by the way.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, it's a hell of a pick at 40.
Because I think that, there's people think that T. Higgins, he's always been a number 2, and he's still put up really good numbers, obviously. If you made him a number 1, what would he be? Would you take him at 9? I think that's the question because, ironically enough, 40 times, very almost identical between T. Higgins and Carnell Tate.
Yeah, not at 9.
Similar.
If someone gets Carnell, so if he slides in the draft, and every year there is at least one wide receiver in that grouping of the top 3 that slides.
There's no way he gets out of the first round.
And
No chance.
no, but slides to like 20.
Sure.
And I don't know if maybe is that going to be him because of his combine? What was he like in the interviews? I don't know. I think Carnell Tate, if he's there at 15 or 17, if he falls to that point, I think it's a hell of a pick. At 9, it's a bit more of a stretch, but I am not anti-taking wide receiver at 9 at all. My priority is defensive line, but if you told me they took Tate or Lemon
It is interesting.
or Tyson at 9, you could sell me on that.
It is interesting because with the combine stuff with the testing with Tate, Mekhi Lemon apparently bombed interviews really badly, according to reports, at least some of them. That whole position is very interesting.
Don't forget, there's teams that might love that player that intentionally leak out how bad he was during the interview process and all. There's gamesmanship, smoke screen. I'm not saying the Chiefs are doing it, like in this particular instance. I'm just saying some of that stuff that happens, the Chiefs it turn out they might actually love a player they were telling everybody they hated. It happens every year.
On Friday during the show, we were talking about Fernando Mendoza, who said the worst question he got asked was that someone told him to get arrested.
One about, hey, I don't know what to say. It was, hey, maybe you should get arrested. And I was like, I was a little confused, but then I was like, the slide. So hopefully I don't get arrested.
I don't get that one.
So you can slide in the draft.
Can you tell us who said that?
It was not one of the teams I had a formal interview with, so I'm not gonna. I don't want to expose the team.
That's got to be Minnesota, right?
I'm guessing the team was joking slightly.
Yeah, I don't think they actually think they have any chance at getting him, but still, it's a wild thing to say.
I mean,
look, at number 9 at wide receiver, the only thing I'm locking in is they're one of the 5 to 7 best wide receivers in the NFL. Other than that, I'll roll the dice and take my chances. I'm never locking in like T. Higgins, who's probably, I don't know, without looking, the 30th in yardage last year, Wide receiver, 25th in yardage in the NFL.
I don't know. He was also hurt throughout the year with concussion issues, and he still was. I
bet he averages like the 25th most yards out of wide receiver in the NFL in a given year. That's probably around where he is. Because there's going to be plenty of people like Amon-Ra and Justin Jefferson. Like, if you could guarantee me he's Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'll lock it in, right? But Amon-Ra's better than T. Higgins and has been more productive than T. Higgins. And I know works as a number 1 wide receiver. Sure. T. Higgins, for all I know, maybe he would be a 1,200-yard wide receiver if Jamar Chase didn't exist. But I wouldn't I can't lock it in because I don't know. He's also had injury history and all that other stuff. He'd maybe land more in that Tyson range. Who else? You said that was their first round?
Yeah, that was the
5
round
round.
pick. Yeah, it's a 5-rounder. So I'll run off the rest for you. A guy that Bink mentioned, actually, Gabe Jacas at pick 40, edge rusher.
Jacas,
Jacas.
Not, okay.
Edge rusher out of Illinois. 3rd rounder, Chandler Rivers, slot corner out of Duke. And then the 4th and 5th, real quick for you, Nick Singleton, running back out of Penn State. And round 4, and then round 5, Xavier Harris, interior defensive lineman out of Ole Miss.
Again, the position grouping doesn't sound all that crazy. And you
There's
said
another 5th-round pick, by the way. I'm sorry. Safety Robert Spears Jennings from Oklahoma.
If you wanted Reuben Bain or Carnell Tate, this was a great week for you. It got slightly more likely those players will be available at 9. Not way more likely. Let's not try to pretend like one combine performance moves the needle entirely, but those players became slightly more likely to be available at pick number 9 than they were just a week ago. And that's fine. Great. That feels about right, depending on those. But my whole thing on Bain last week, and you weren't here for it, and guys like Carnell Tate is, like at 9, like with Bain, I'm not Tate. He fits prototypical size, strength, all those things. With Bain, I'm not going to try to get they go outside of all the normal metrics for success of that player and try to get the exception to the rule at 9. I'm looking for things that are the rule.
Closest
They're
to
the right height.
They're
the right
thing,
weight.
But
They're
close.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to eliminate as many possible chances of getting pick number 9 wrong as possible. And so if I know there's only 10 defensive ends in history with tiny arms who have success, and they're Dwight Freeney and Micah Parsons at 31.5 or whatever. And I got like a handful of, I'm not trying to get the exception to the rule at 9. I'll get the exception to the rule at 15, 32, 76. I don't care. But at 9, I got to eliminate some possibilities of screwing up by eliminating some, like, it'd be like taking a 6'9" quarterback at 1. No 6'9" quarterback's ever been successful. Don't you see the risk?
These are the conversations though you have if you're if you're Brett Veach in the front office though. I mean, there's risk that you
take no matter what.
You know, if you really believe in a player in the entire process and you think his ceiling might be that he's a future Hall of Famer versus a guy that like, yeah, he's going to have a nice career, but the floor is way low. Like, this is the risk evaluation that they have to have and through their scouting department. It's why they get paid to do what they get paid to get it right.
The thing that I'd be a little worried about is that Carnell Tate has never been a number 1 wide receiver at Ohio State. Never. Jeremiah Smith, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr. He has never.
Those are some pretty good guys. He was surrounded by.
I understand that.
I'd almost be open in that case.
But hold on, if we're talking about some expectations of selections at 9, are you willing to take a guy that has never been a number 1 wide receiver and asked to do all of it?
So Drew,
I think that he's been the secondary option. And has he been good because everybody's worried about Jeremiah Smith and Marvin Harrison Jr. and those guys? That's why I would be worried about that more than I would Tyson, more than I even would be Mekhi Lemon.
This is how people talk themselves into Downs, talk themselves into Love. Now, I will say, same thing applies. Do you know how rarely safeties are taken in the top 10? It's for a reason that and the last one to get taken in the top 10 was a fine NFL player for a while, Jamal Adams. Eventually got like crazy trade compensation for, but was also not like an all-pro future Hall of Famer either. It's like those non-valuable positions. You got to be careful with those two. It's like, it's such a mixed bag. It's this elimination of like, how do you make sure? It's why like, if anything was available, like the normal available things as in like, it's reasonable to assume, it's why I'd take Bailey before I'd take any of them if he was there at 9. Before any of the names we just mentioned.
Oh, Bailey's there. If he's available now, you should run to the podium. They shouldn't even take more than a minute.
I just don't think he's going to be there.
I don't think anybody believes he's making it to 9 anymore.
Gold. Would you take Sonny Styles over a wide receiver? Would you take Sonny Styles if he's available?
Can he play regular DN in a 4-3? He's a stand-up linebacker. If I can make him a defensive end,
I want to see, to answer that question, Drew, I want to see what they do in free agency first. Like, that's part of this, too. Like, when we're talking about what position. Like, I'm open to just about anything other than running back at 9. But if we sit here and they just have Brashard Smith on the roster and then they sign, like, someone way down in free agency, well, then I might feel differently about the running back.
For sure.
If they go and sign Mike Evans, well, then I don't know if I want him taking a wide receiver at 9. No, everything can change.
You take a best player available situation, yeah.
Everything can totally change. If they decide
Sonny Styles also is probably not going to be available at 9 anyways.
If they trade Trent McDuffie, and then my feeling about taking Caleb Downs at 9 is way different.
Would you want a corner if they traded Trent McDuffie? Would you want Mansour Delane?
I don't know at 9. I didn't get a corner. If with that additional pick that I get, I could take let's say it's 20 something or whatever.
Yeah.
So much should this change. It is still, I was about to say February. It's March 2nd. We're getting closer, but we haven't even got the free agency yet. A lot of it's going to change.
Out though.
Franchise tag deadline also is tomorrow afternoon, I think.
Yeah.
Across the NFL. Not that the Chiefs are going to have anybody tagged, but it could impact the rest of the offseason, what players do.
Do you guys want to do a mock draft, like our own mock draft?
We
like
usually
a show
do.
mock. Like
we usually do one. Just
the week of the draft. We do one usually the week of the draft.
And then we follow it.
Oh no, I meant. Do you want to do like a show on where we like submit like we do every pick in the first round and we submit it to see how we compare?
And we can try to do.
I'm not going to be good.
We can try to do that if you want as well. We'll have to make it quick. I don't know if people want to have us sit through each pick. We might have to do a little.
Oh, I meant like a social, like you and like
social media
like we sit down and we show the graphic and we
why not? We could do that closer. Let's wait till we get to April. How about that?
Yes, that'd be
in April. We are since we're going to Pittsburgh.
To the draft. It would feel right this year more than others.
Mm-hmm. Up next, let's get to what's trending. Let's talk a bit more about Jawaan Taylor, who's expected to get cut. And one thing financially that does benefit some of these MLB teams that have a baseball stadium set up the way the Royals have talked about in the past.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. Cause 30 told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Spring savings start early at Lowe's. Get a Cobalt 24-volt Max leaf blower for just $99. It's powerful, lightweight, and ready to go. Plus, get 4 bags of Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil for just $10. Don't wait. Get everything you need to start on your spring projects today. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/4. Soil offer excludes Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Vern, and the Hot Stove Show is back Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on What's Trending the News, we're going to get into a bit more after What's Trending, which is reports this morning, no surprise, but that the Chiefs have informed Jawaan Taylor that they plan on releasing him unless a trade comes together. That'd be amazing for the Chiefs if one did. But they're going to cut him, going to save $20 million in cap space. I think it's a no-brainer. It's something we've all talked about, even in season, that this was likely the outcome. But I want to discuss where they go from here, and we'll do that right after What's Trending.
Next up on What's Trending, obviously, Major League Baseball spring training continues. The Royals will lose some players this week, though, as the WBC gets kicked off later this week. Major League Baseball did also announce today that they'll do a spring breakout tournament starting in 2027. You might remember back in 2024, they started this showcase games in Florida and Arizona where they'd highlight some of the top prospects in baseball.
Yeah.
Well, now they're going to do a tournament style in the middle of March as a part of those young star players coming in there, crowning a champion in both grapefruit and cactus leagues and putting like these like superstar prospecty teams together to kind of like, I think it's their way of being like, you know how you like college football players and you know who they are? Maybe you would have seen Connor Griffin at 18 or 19 participate in these games, or Jack Caglione participate in these games and get a sense of who these players are. So just another thing coming baseball's way, obviously, as they try to increase their brand.
Local college basketball over the weekend. Kansas got smoked by Arizona out there, 84-61. Missouri took care of Mississippi State. It was one of those games we said, hey, you can't lose. Put yourself in a good spot. Tiebreaker, yeah.
God, they're going to finish dead last in the Big 12? That's crazy. I mean, it might be 15th, but that's it. It's 15th or 16th at this point based on the games played. Next up on What's Trending, Sporting Kansas City opened their season over the weekend with a 2-2 draw against Columbus. Reminder, Sporting's not expected to be particularly good this year. Columbus is, however. It took a late PK save in order for Sporting to get the draw, but eventually come away with it. That's a good result for them, by the way, even at home against a good Columbus squad.
Couple of trades today in the NFL. One, the Texans have traded for David Montgomery. That's Lions running back David Montgomery, now a member of the Texans. According to Adam Schefter, that includes a 4th-round pick, a backup offensive lineman, and a 7th-round pick. Plus, the Texans and Browns agree to a deal to send their starting right tackle, Titus Howard, to Cleveland in exchange for a 5th-round pick, as the Texans are going to revamp this entire offensive line. But a couple moves in the NFL involving the Texans today.
Yeah, they've been busy. They're not a well-run organization. They're not a laughingstock. They're not the Jets, but they are not well-run. Next up on What's Trending, Tyler Reddick becomes the first NASCAR driver to ever start a season with 3 wins in a row. He's obviously on Michael Jordan's team. Obviously, people making the three-peat references as a result to that. But first NASCAR driver ever to start a season with 3 wins in a row. Well, he won that lawsuit. His team went nuts.
Yeah, what's going on? Tell me.
Apparently, he was the best driver this whole time. And once they got rid of the monopoly that is NASCAR, everybody knows
crazy.
it.
He didn't win a race last season.
Yeah, explain to me, like, what is honestly going on? I don't watch NASCAR, so tell me, like, it's obviously historical. He's won 3 in a row. That's amazing. But what has changed? I mean, this guy's been in NASCAR for a while.
I mean, some of it is luck. With Daytona, some of it is luck just as much as skill. Same thing with the new Atlanta, the newly paved Atlanta. It's very much a similar style to Daytona, where you have to avoid the big wreck, right place, wrong time, or right place, right time sort of thing, but also skill as well. I mean, he's a very good driver. It's just that things have worked out this well, and he was great yesterday. And hey, 3 wins in a row, first time ever to start a season. It's happened before. 3 wins in a row have happened, but not to start a season before.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
This is the first time ever that's happened. And of course, MJ being the owner, he's done interviews during and after every single race.
It's still funny to me.
It's been a very big
He's
deal.
a bigger advocate for the sport of NASCAR than he is basketball.
100%.
Way more available. Talks about it. There for interviews. Seen it games. Seen it races in this case. That man doesn't want anywhere near basketball. He's all over NASCAR.
You've seen this, though, with some athletes where they would much rather talk about movies with us during an interview than they would the sport they play.
Sure.
It's like actors always want to be musicians. Musicians always want to be actors,
I definitely
always see
think
whatever actor, trying to play in some band on the weekend.
Yeah, athletes want to be movie stars. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure. Real quick, one last thing on What's Trending. Paramount confirming today they're going to combine Paramount Plus with HBO Max. And so this new combo is going to have the TNT properties and CBS Sports properties on one platform. And eventually could lead one day to where you could have, sports you would typically only see on TNT on CBS or vice versa. So we'll see. I swear every 5 months, guys, these streaming platforms change the names. They change with the combination.
What's included with the price.
It's nuts. But yeah, there you go. Paramount Plus, of course, has UFC now. That was a big deal that they made. That's why some UFC fights are on CBS. So there's a chance, I guess, in the future, could you have
college basketball
UFC fight? Well, that already happens.
Yeah.
College basketball, that's the whole NCAA tournament. We already get it on both. But yeah, just a little bit of industry news. Don't forget on Mondays, Our friends over at 30 Hop, our lunch partner. Perfect day to head over to 30 Hop, whether you're in Lee Summit or just down the road from us in Merriam, Grand Station. $5.99 classic burgers each and every Monday at 30 Hop. And when we get one of these nice days, not today, but one of these nice days, awesome patios at both locations.
Yep. Great time to spend. I mean, we're close. Fake spring is here. So, like, we got a little of that taste last week, but we're getting closer. There's a couple of random nice days this week.
Are there? I thought it was going to rain a
like
lot this
Thursday,
week.
It's going to be like
think.
70, I think, on Thursday.
But thunderstorms, right? We're
And
going to get
Friday's
like
supposed to
a
be warm,
March
but rain.
thunderstorm. Sign me up.
Friday is,
Dude, it was thunder sleeting or whatever yesterday. It was thundering yesterday.
I was worried at first when I landed. By the time I landed, it wasn't doing like the roads were fine and there wasn't
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
Like late at night, it was fine. Last
Sunday,
night.
68 and sunny. Monday, 70 and sunny. Next
All right,
week.
let's go. Let's
Going
go.
next week.
Hell yeah.
We need a nice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday
For
next
the-
week. For the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah.
Wednesday is 53 and raining.
Next week?
Yes.
Thursday's the big day, right? Thursday's the one's
All
going to be
day,
awesome.
all
What's
day
Thursday
awesome.
looking like?
I don't know yet. The Apple 10-day forecast doesn't include a Thursday. I'd have to.
Come on, Apple.
Again,
I mean,
Thursday,
it's a 10
March
day,
12th.
so
We need
yeah.
the Thursday, March 12th forecast.
You have to go beyond the 10-day, I guess. You have to do the monthly almost.
I just need the 11-day. You know, I don't need a month. I need
next
11
Thursday,
days.
next Thursday is 50. Next Friday, 53 is what it's saying.
We can tolerate
Saturday,
that.
51.
That's not bad.
Anyway,
As long as it stays at 50 and not go below that, we're
For
good.
early March, make it work.
let's talk a little bit more about Jawaan Taylor. I mentioned that number one on what's trending. Nobody that's paid any bit of attention to Chiefs football over the last, let's call it 6 months even, should be surprised by the news that the Chiefs are expected to release Jawaan Taylor unless the trade comes together. Number one, it's all about finances here. He's due a $27.4 million cap hit, or has a $77.4 million cap hit. They can free up $20 million, and that would get them out of the negative in the cap and put them in position without even making any other move to get them league compliant by the start of the year. And there's still other moves. Remember, they can restructure a few other guys if they would like to moving forward. And then Jawaan Taylor, while I do think his performance wasn't not a disaster the way it'll be talked about probably in Kansas City, simply put, you have 55 penalties for like 300 yards. Unacceptable. Not good enough for $27 million cap hit. But he was a starting right tackle for a team that won a Super Bowl. But it's time to move on. You signed Jalen Moore before you had the draft last year in case you couldn't get Josh Simmons. Simmons ends up playing for much of the season. Had injuries, though, and the weird absence. Now it's time for, I think, the money you paid Jalen Moore for you to get the payoff. And that is be your starting right tackle. And he's not a long-term option unless you feel good about him. You could sign him to an extension this offseason as well. So I think this is the obvious move. You cut ties with Jawaan Taylor. He'll sign somewhere else and get a nice contract somewhere else still, I believe.
He'll definitely have a market. This goes back to the general sense on how will you remember the Jawaan Taylor? He's a Super Bowl champion, and I think he performed better than his reputation in Kansas City. Is he a deeply flawed player in the sense that he has a massive penalty problem that man can't shake? And did Chris Collinsworth take an axe to a portion of his career? Hell yeah, he did. He caused a big problem for old Jawaan Taylor. Or before, you'd have just been like, well, he gets penalties sometimes, but it's not that bad. And then the second Chris Collinsworth absolutely hammered it on a Sunday night broadcast, it got worse. And so do I think that Jawaan Taylor was a miserably bad football player the entire time he was here? No. This is my only thing about the offensive line as it relates to Jalen Moore, who I do think should be the starting right tackle, but I also think needs some competition. My fear, Gold, is if they don't sign him to an extension, then I don't think they like right tackle all that much.
Or they want to see more from Jalen Moore.
Yeah.
And then he has a good year, and then, it gets tougher because then he gets the market.
Yeah.
But you could still, they could franchise tag him if he was awesome this year,
I
too.
know he wasn't a starter in San Francisco. They at no point moved to him over Jawaan Taylor when they could, and they were having trouble, and Jawaan Taylor couldn't stop making penalties, and Matt Nagy was threatening him in press conferences to get it squared away.
Yeah,
so
I think that's more about the Chiefs' unwillingness to move on than it is Jalen Moore.
But I'm just saying, if they don't, I think they should extend Jalen Moore. I think he is 90% of the quality of player is Jawaan Taylor, with less mistakes, thankfully. He's not as good of a blocker, but he's close enough that I'd pay him, lower the cap hit for this year and extend a year or two past, and just make sure the offensive line is squared away for a few years. We're not going into another draft wondering whether or not. Drew would point out a stat about Cincinnati that I think might be equally as true about Kansas City, honestly. He had said, man, this is the first time the Bengals would be returning 5 starting linemen in the entire time Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor been there. And then I started thinking about the Chiefs' offensive line. When's the last time they ran it back for a year? Not any time recently. Different starting left guard, different starting left tackle, different starting tackle the year before that one. Then it was Orlando Brown. Like, they haven't run back the same offensive line in years.
Yeah.
I just think if they didn't extend him, it would tell me they're not really confident anymore. And I would think right tackle should be a little scary going into the year. Not like we need to be sitting to panic, but that there could be a problem there.
I just think you have to take advantage of the fact that for one offseason, you are not forced to spend high draft pick capital on an offensive lineman. They have basically been forced to do that because it's their own fault, right? They whiffed with Kingsley. I know he's a guard now, but they whiffed. If he was the
tackle,
if they nailed him at tackle, then they wouldn't have had to spin a pick on Josh Simmons, et cetera. So I would like to take advantage of the fact that the year I have a top 10 pick as well, I don't have to go spend it on an offensive lineman. And if Jalen Moore flops this year and you don't like what you have, well, then we're back in the conversation of doing that. It's why I'm with you on the extension maybe for Jalen Moore if, in fact, they believe in him and maybe he's somebody that gets one right before the season or something at training camp. I just don't want them spending another top draft pick. So a few mocks have them taking an alignment at 9. I think that's a mistake based off of what you're paying Jalen Moore. You're going to draft at 9 an offensive lineman. Jalen Moore's got an $18 million cap hit. Then you're basically forced to trade Jalen Moore for pennies on the dollar.
If you can find a suitor.
Right.
Because based on that, you should be able to, and I get it, they said Jawaan Taylor cut unless they can find a trade partner. Based on that logic, the acquiring team and the amount of money the Chiefs would save, well, then they should be able to find a trade partner for Jawaan Taylor. Like, $18 million for a safety net at tackle. That sounds horrible. And what the hell were you doing with your money? No offense. That would look badly on Brett Veach. So you're going to take on a huge dead cap number for Jawaan Taylor, cut him. You're going to have an $18 million backup tackle, and you're going to spend the number 9 overall pick on tackle too? The year after you spent your first-round pick on left? What the hell are you doing here? Can you eventually diagnose good tackles or no? And in that case, I'm just infinitely less confident that you're actually good at selecting the player at 9. I'm going to start thinking the guy you got's not very good just based off of your history, not based off of the player or the scouting results at all. I'll be like, do I trust you? So far, who's his biggest hit on offensive line in free agency or in the draft?
It's Trey Smith or Creed Humphrey.
Yeah. Okay. So guard and tackle, great. Or guard in center.
Yeah.
Great. Then we start going to tackle.
Jury is still out on Josh Simmons. We're going to find out a lot this year.
Tackle, he's
find out a ton this year.
It's weird at tackle, man. He has spent, and this is why I don't want pick number 9 either. And I saw the rumors this weekend says it's a bigger possibility you want to admit. I think that's a smokescreen.
Hopefully.
I think that's the Chiefs trying to keep teams interested in positions that aren't the ones that they want to take. As in, if you want to trade with the Saints at 8 to get a tackle, you better do it because I might do it. Think about the resources right now. At just tackle, they have paid $20 million a year to a right tackle in Jalen Moore. They spent 4 years and $80 million on a right tackle in Jawaan Taylor. They traded away a first-round pick and paid Orlando Brown Jr. on a franchise tag for a couple of years. Yeah. So they've spent a first-round pick in Simmons. They have put, and that's crazy investment.
Well, that's why I do not want them spending a high draft pick again on the tackle in a year in which, to me, they don't need to. If someone brings up, to answer your question about the better signings, Joe Thuney, they said, was one of the better offensive line signings. Yeah, it turned out to be a phenomenal signing for Kansas City. That was right after the Bucs Super Bowl. And they said, no, we got to go get an experienced guy. We all know Joe Thuney is still one of the best players in the league at his position. We don't need to rehash why they decided to trade him. I still have no problem with the trade. This past year's team with Joe Thuney, they were not going to suddenly be everything fixed if Joe Thuney was on the roster.
I'm not even sure they have one more win. I'm legitimately not even sure it changes it to that effect. Right? Do you?
Someone said they could cut Jalen Moore and save another $9 million. Yeah, but then you're forced to take, in my opinion, a tackle at 9, and it's a rookie at right tackle to go with a second-year left tackle. I don't like that thought process. And I know someone will say, well, then what about Pole or whatever? Again, complete wild card still. I know we all got excited about the story. It's a wild card.
Out of camp.
He's hopefully going to be a really nice depth piece for you moving forward, and maybe a swing tackle one day. Yeah. He's not your starting right tackle, though. I did not see enough from Pole to think I'm good to go at right tackle.
No. To answer your question, Cody, Kingsley was good enough that it would not have made a difference.
No.
Right.
We did not talk about
I'm
him
not even sure
all
it's a
season.
win. I don't even think it'd get you a win, you know?
We didn't talk about him in any bad way all season. If anything, it was props to Kingsley because we're not talking about him.
Tooney was better. The run game would have been a little better.
Sure.
The pass protection would have been a little better. Maybe. And I mean this. Maybe. Best case scenario is if you unwind that trade, they are one game better in the win-loss
7
column.
and 10 instead of 6 and 11.
And broker. So, where are they worse? Because in that case, they have to pay Tooney more money. So, no Jalen Moore. So, the second that Simmons takes his sabbatical from the team, no more right tackle to cover your ass. You're just stuck because you couldn't afford him anymore. Like, there's a cause and effect part of all this. There's a butterfly effect to all of it that kind of goes down the thing. I don't want to get hung up on the Tooney trade. Did the Bears? It's more like it's a great trade for the Bears than it is like, oh no, what did the Chiefs do? It's hard to get swindled when you're talking about late round draft picks for players they weren't going to pay.
Brett, look, there's been mistakes, obviously, that have been made. Brett Veach did not trade away Joe Tooney thinking he sucked and had nothing left in the tank. That was not their thought process.
Chose youth over
that was not
what's better for our team in the future.
Their thought process was like, oh, we got to trade him because he's going to stink next year. That was not the thought process. I feel like sometimes when we discuss this trade, that's what some people act as if, oh, Brett Veach misevaluated Joe Tooney. He thought he was dumb. That's not what it was. It was they chose. Now, maybe you still think they shouldn't have paid Trey Smith. That's fine.
That's a good argument as it relates to, like, if you're not going to do that,
sure.
Why pay Trey at all?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's different than saying, oh, how could they trade away a great player?
No, that, like, the Trey Smith part. But again, this goes back to the Chiefs, and this is like, they're a winning franchise, so I don't really have, like, some big area to pick on this. Part of their organizational philosophy, Gold, at this point, is youth. When they let Tooney go and sign Trey Smith, that's because Trey Smith was 25 when they signed him. Joe Tooney was 32. Like, they're choosing and will consistently, as an organization, choose the younger player when forced to choose between the two, especially for longer-term deals as it relates to the health of the organization. And look, I don't agree with this. From the 816, the only good picks Veach has made is McDuffie, Creed, and Trey Smith.
That's not true. Pacheco, while it's time to move on from, he was a 7th-round pick. It was a pretty damn good pick. Jalen Watson.
Yeah.
Nick Bolton. I know you and I disagree on the contract, but, like, he's a second contract player. He's been a pretty damn good linebacker for that draft. You can't tell me they whiffed on Nick Bolton in the draft. That's just not true.
Karlaftis has been solid.
Yeah, he got a second contract with the team. Like, this, there are major issues with.
I would also say Brian Cook was
playmaker.
I go through a lot of good picks.
They've misevaluated left tackle. We're going to find out about Simmons this year. They have struggled at wide receiver. Though that is fair to criticize.
Oh yeah.
This idea though that he's only had 3 good picks at the position. if you're just saying he hasn't had picks at the position you want, fine. But that's also like that's different than saying someone said Pacheco was average at best. He was a 7th-round pick. They got everything you could possibly ask for out of a 7th-round pick. It's time to move on though.
I think I give Brett also a little bit of a pass on Rashee Rice because it's Rashee's problems that have caused it's not the pick. The pick in terms of football, in terms of on the field.
Wow, the Rice one, I don't think they get a pass on that. You have to factor in what they knew at the time about the issues and character. Part of it is you got to get the character part right too.
Yeah,
not just the talent.
I agree. I think that is part of it. I think it's not a bad pick, but it's one that just materialized into something that you have to move on from, I guess. Because on the field stuff, he's been really good. Like, I think that's the concept of it is obviously. But I think the character stuff, I don't think you put more blame on that on the player in term than the draft pick.
But it's a team in my opinion.
Yeah. Ultimately, in
my opinion.
So there's a balance there.
Like James Pierce Jr. was it ended up being a good pick at the value that Atlanta had, but he ended up doing it. But he made a bad decision that jeopardized what would have been a really good pick.
But they knew character concerns going into it. The team screwed up the pick.
Yeah, the team
should have never taken it because he's a knucklehead, right? Like that part of it.
Brett Veach cannot have predicted that he was going to get in a car wreck and leave the scene in Dallas.
Yeah.
Of course. Nobody's blaming him for that. However, there were clear signs that this dude makes terrible decisions. So you have to get that part right. Nobody can predict what decision someone's going to make in the future, but there are signs of, was it just a one-off mistake or was there a pattern? And this is where, they have to get it right.
When they picked him, there was at that point, it was only one incident. I think that's the thing. That's where the player messed it up. for them.
It's the same.
The pick
Drew,
was good in the moment, and it was real. And then he decided to make a mistake.
Sure, but
that because he had one little issue in college. I think there's a lot of people.
if somebody gets in
alleviate
trouble.
any character concerns and red flags, it's on the player to just correct it, completely ignore what red flags exist. That's such a cop-out for every GM in the league.
Because it's the same as like, and this doesn't just like off the field stuff. It's also like, this is the entire part of the evaluation process. Maybe they're not a good team guy. Maybe they're selfish. Maybe they're not a hard worker. Drew, that would just be saying like, because they're talented, it's not the GM's fault if they're not a hard worker. No, they have to determine those things and the risk reward. Like in the end, James Pierce Jr. is going to go down as a bad pick by the Falcons GM.
But it's not. It's not their fault.
It is their fault.
No, it's not.
I 100% disagree with that, and that's fine. We just disagree on it.
Well, it's not their fault it happened, but like they should not be like, oh, we had no idea that he might make a terrible decision. They can't. You can't. Both things can be true. You're right, Drew. Like it's not the GM's fault. He literally went out and did what he apparently did. But the GM cannot sit here a year from now and be like, how are we supposed to know that maybe he makes bad decisions? I don't know, because everybody knew it around the draft.
But to me, the pick is bad because of the player. It's not the GM making the pick. It's not the coaching staff that messed the pick up.
Well, then I want to be a GM in this world because I got ultimate job security. It's never my fault.
Because I think, yes, you need to ultimately.
How is it any different than an injury? Can I ask you that? What's the difference between, because you're just pretending like Jordan Tyson, for instance. Let's just say they draft him, and when he's on the field, he gets 1,200 yards his rookie year. He's awesome, and then he's hurt the rest of his career. It is
because the player's not getting hurt. The player's not making that decision to get hurt. The player's Rashee Rice made the decision to leave the scene. James Pierce Jr. made the decision to do that. The player does not decide to get hurt. Hey, I'm going to tear my ACL today.
Right.
I'm going to break my leg today. That I think that is the difference to me. I think it is different than an injury because the player makes the decision.
Ignore all character concerns.
No, I did not say that. I think you have to consider it, but I do think that for the selection that they made, Rashee Rice, when he was on the field, when he is not making bad decisions
or hurt.
The pick is, if anything, let's say none of this has happened with Rashee Rice. They hit a home run maybe with a second-round pick in terms of his production. But then you couple in what he's done, and it's Rashee's decision-making. It's not the Chiefs.
Yeah, I guess the Raiders.
It's Rashee Rice making that
decision. The Raiders hit a home run, I guess, with Henry
Ruggs
Ruggs because when he was on the field, he was great until he killed someone. Or it was a great pick till then.
I just don't think anybody looks at it that way.
I also don't think he was that good for the pick that he was taking.
That wasn't even the point.
But sure,
yeah.
Henry Ruggs made the decision. It's not. It's not. The Raiders didn't. The Raiders made a decision, and the player.
I'm not saying I would take
every decision in the moment. Like I don't think that's. I don't know if there was a character issue with him coming into the draft, anyways.
I'm not even saying if I was a GM, we can move on after we got to get a break. But like, I'm not even saying if I was a GM, I would never draft someone with a red flag. That's not my argument. Is not that I think you have to take that risk at times with certain players.
Sure.
But you can call it hindsight all you want. That's the name of the game. Your job is to get it right. And if there's a player that has any bit of character concern or a red flag, you have to evaluate and somewhat predict, hey, is this really a problem or is it not? And when it doesn't work out, it is more than fair for people to say, hey, yeah, you can't be surprised that this happened. Maybe you took the risk when you drafted a particular player. Yeah, Brett Veach is not the one driving the vehicle and leaving the scene. They're in the business of getting it right and balancing the risk and reward. And character concerns go into that. That's all. All right. Up next, let's get back into the Royals a little bit. They got a new outfielder, but what does the signing actually mean? Plus the random question of the day.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Look, you don't feel yourself. The workout hasn't been going as well. Your sex drive hasn't been the same. All of those things can be signs of low testosterone. Plus, you're probably looking for the best deal on TRT and those individualized treatments to work on those. So don't pay hundreds of dollars out of pocket for a franchise or settle for a one-size-fits-all dose from your doctor just because they take your insurance. At Synergen X and Low T Center, you can get powerful TRT dosed for your body and get it covered by your insurance. Synergen X and Low T Center work with most insurance plans, and they want to work with those individualized plans to make sure it's individualized for you. Plus, they've been offering great deals on GLP-1s to get your life back in that possibility as well, and testosterone tests. So if you're looking to get back to yourself, there's no other place in Kansas City you should be going. Synergen X and Low T Center will take care of that for you. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to Synergen X or lowtcenter.com and book today.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family is banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in no time with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025. Actual speeds vary. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to the premises by coaxial cable.
Missouri, get ready. Circus Sports is giving you the chance to win owner Derek Stevens' wallet. From February 3rd to March 15th, you can take home your share of $250,000 in cash. Simply wager $100 and earn 1 share. Wager $1,000 to earn 2 shares. Wager $5,000 for a 3rd share. Bet on anything from pro sports to college, straight bets to futures. Don't miss your chance to cash in and take home your share of Derek's wallet. Visit circusports.com for details. Must be 21 and older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Some flavors just take you to another place. Like the Filet-O-Fish, a crispy fish fillet made with wild-caught Alaskan pollock on melty American cheese topped with tartar sauce, all on a soft, steamed bun. It's crispy, flaky perfection. And right now, I can mix and match 2 favorites, like a Filet-O-Fish or 10-piece Chicken McNuggets for just $6. This deal is the catch of the day. So get to McDonald's fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you love sports, this is the show for you. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the free Odyssey app and YouTube at The Costos. Bringing you the biggest NFL news, guests, and notes from the offseason while getting you ready to win the madness of college hoops. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM. Download the Odyssey app and listen from anywhere for sports talk from people who love sports.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, coming up in about 8 minutes or so, we will get to the random question of the day. Video stream up and running. Don't forget you can watch the show anytime you want as well, at your own risk. You know, some days it's better than others, depending on what show you're listening to and watching. You know, some shows you might like watching more than others. I'll let you guys decide which shows those are. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X.
I have the numbers. I can tell you which show gets watched the most.
Yeah. I don't know, like if you want, Cody's got a new haircut, if you want to check that out. I'm sure you guys are fascinated by that. Dusty was giving you a hard time earlier today for the new cut. I didn't even notice it, I'll be honest. But it looks good.
Genuinely likes it. Like I don't want to.
I think it's better going shorter
Dusty
like that with
not,
the fade.
He was not being sarcastic. Dusty likes the skin fade a lot. He actually really likes the haircut.
What can I so
he wouldn't stop talking about it.
I thought once we got past like middle school or something, we stopped commenting every time somebody got a haircut.
I didn't even notice.
Like if you get a haircut, I'm like, and you also got a haircut, by the way.
But it's the same. I think what happened was
maybe similar in day and time.
I think what Dusty's saying is, I think that's Dusty's saying, like for me, I get the same haircut every time now for 4 years or whatever. I think he noticed a difference in yours, and that's why he brought it up. But anyway, you can watch the show if you want.
If you want to see my new haircut,
you know, some days Drew's wearing a Hooters outfit. Other days Cody's got a haircut. It just just so happens.
Mm-hmm.
Showing on the video stream there. Yep. Some days you never know, right? Total mystery in our different hairstyles. I like my barber for what it's worth. I'm sticking with him.
You should.
He opened his own shop, and I transitioned.
I'm loyal to. I've talked about this. I'm loyal to the person that cuts my hair. I drive to Lee Summit every time for mine, and you guys know I don't live anywhere near Lee Summit.
Crazy enough, the barber moved closer to me.
Well, that's
his own shop. I'm like, well, this is even better.
Yeah.
He got like 2 minutes closer than I was already driving. I'm like,
perfect
dream scenario. And I took my son. We back-to-back appointments.
There you go.
So he got a fresh cut too.
Perfect.
You know, we're all squared away. He's still taking that basketball everywhere. And he wore his Steph Curry jersey all weekend.
Someone says, what's your least favorite comment about a haircut? Mine is, looks like you got your ears lowered a little bit.
Man, that's way up there.
Yeah.
Way up there.
I haven't heard that one in a while, though.
No, that feels like something an old person would have said to me when I was a kid.
That's a very old saying.
Yeah.
Your ears lowered a bit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to avoid a lot of the little conversations that feel so meaningless.
Do you talk to your barber?
He talks, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you're because our old producer Nick.
I would love
wanted
if I could.
silence.
I would love if I could have a completely silent
Really?
haircut, I think. But I've gotten to know him well enough that I don't mind the chat.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Depends on the conversation. There's some days where you enjoy the conversation more than others, but I think that's part of like going to. I don't know. Like I think that's part of the vibe. Like if you're at a barber shop, especially a lot of them now offer you a drink while you're getting your haircut.
Yeah, that could be way worse. All right, let's talk a little bit of the Royals. They over the weekend, and they still have not made it official, so I guess we'll wait till it's official.
Yep.
But Starling Marte is going to head to the Royals on a 1-year deal. People expect it to be in the $3 to $4 million range. So low stakes, right? Not here to tell you. This is a perfect signing for a team that should be in the playoffs. This is actually, funny enough, this is the type of trade I would expect them to make later in the year. If it were a trade deadline, the exact thing we'd be saying before they sign Starling Marte, and they might still if he doesn't work out, which is they need a guy who's a bench bat, who can play the outfield, who can hit left-handed pitching. Ta-da! For $4 million, they get Starling Marte. This is a player also that they've coveted for a number of years. They have mentioned him by name as an organization for, I legitimately, maybe 5 to 7 years. They might have liked him coming out of the draft. They've talked about him so long. I don't know. This is a player that they think can add benefit. He's been on a highly competitive Mets team for the last 4 years, has been a highly productive player for the Mets the last 4 years. Other than one bad year, he'd have been second on the team in on-base percentage or third on the team in on-base percentage. They're just ask him to play 80, 90 games, which is what he's done for the Mets. Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. He can play half the season, be available, and hit righties. I don't see any problem here.
It's a bit of bargain bin shopping, which is fine at this point in time. We'll see the exact financials, but it feels like that's what it is. And I think he fits a role that could be really valuable for this team. One, as you described it, pinch hit at bat, perhaps, but also someone that could play a couple times a week. He's also an insurance policy to me. Let's say injury, it's always in play for anybody. You never want that to happen, but that's always in play. But on top of that, I'm talking performance insurance policy, I should say, which is if Isaac Collins, who you traded for, you liked him, he's going to be your opening day left fielder, but he was a late bloomer. If some of the flaws that the Brewers were willing to move on from him for, if those crop up and he doesn't have the year you think you need out of left field, well, you've got a bat. Kyle Isbell, I think even more importantly, if the Lane Thomas bounce back post-injury doesn't happen, is Starlin Marte someone that can come in and help you if Isbell regresses? And then the obvious, if Jack Caglione, while we love what we're seeing in spring, no surprise there.
Yeah.
If he just doesn't figure it out, and I think he will, by the way, but if he doesn't, then Marte is another option for you there. So would you rather have, with no disrespect to Nick Lofton, would you rather have Marte or Nick Lofton? Come on, coming off the bench, it's not even close.
Look, and I don't even mean this as like
you're just trying to build. You're trying to build out you make yourself deeper and better across the entire roster, and that's what this signing does.
Well, and the other part is this is the beauty of signing a player like Marte. It doesn't have to be either or. It only has to be either or on the major league roster. They don't have to let Nick Lofton go now. He'll just go to AAA. And so, if they need Nick Lofton down the road, he is still available. And I understand Nick Lofton had his best year of his career in AAA, and he is a valuable, versatile player. He's more versatile than Starling Marte is. They don't need versatility. Maikel Garcia is an everyday third baseman. Vinny Pasquantino is an everyday first baseman. Salvador Perez is an everyday catcher or DH. Everyday shortstop and Bobby. They don't need an infield, outfield guy. They need a guy who can hit righties in the outfield. That's it. That's all they need. They need a one-trick pony. And Starling Marte, for the last 3 years for the Mets, has been doing that. And so Nick Lofton last year in the majors hit 208 with a 278. And he played 67 games, similar to, Marte was...
He played 90-something, I think. Yeah.
He's 3 wins better, according to this.
Yeah.
Baseball
it's a move. Did they get better with it? Absolutely. I'm not trying to sit here and sell you that, oh my gosh, it's the most amazing signing and it's changed everything. No. It's a nice depth piece that gives you some options. I think there will be moments this season where he does stand out, though, and helps you win a baseball game. And that's all you're asking for in this particular move. And as I said, insurance in case injury or performance with that outfield. I would also have liked them to have signed Cody Bellinger, okay? But that was just not going to happen. I'm not even saying you're wrong for being upset about it. That just wasn't what they're going to do. I would love that. But now they go ahead and sign him. Go ahead.
I will say I wish spring training stats mattered. I do, because if they did, right now we'd be feeling great about the Royals. Carter Jensen hitting .417 with a 1300 OPS. Jack Caglione hitting .400 with a 1200 OPS. Bobby Massey's got a 1446 OPS right now. He's 5 for 13. With a double, a homer, 3 ribbies. I wish spring training stats mattered. I really do. There's even a grand slam over the weekend. But at the same time, it's they just need veteran depth because they are young and talented and good. If they were an older, this is like the Chiefs.
Cody.
If they were an older team, I'd feel different. Having one old player is not changing anything.
Well, look at last year when the outfield was the mess that it was, and eventually
killed for a guy like Marte last year.
Got called up. But remember, this is how ugly it got. And people were like, "Oh my God, gotta call up John Rave. Gotta call up John Rave." Okay, John Rave is just a guy. Okay,
yeah,
and I have no idea what his long-term career outlook is, but
it's not Starling Marte's career.
No, the point is we've seen Waters. They've given him every opportunity, just hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
Nick Lofton, as you said, John Rave.
Gavin Cross, whoever the name is you want to say.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Gavin Cross yet, but he's
But those type of
point being, they got better if in fact this deal becomes official by having this guy on your bench than what they were rolling out there last year. So we'll see.
Yes, even at that spot, they've gotten better in a lot of different spots. Every single corner outfield or every single outfield spot, I would say they either got better through addition or got better because Jack Caglione will be better, right? But Lane Thomas is an improvement over just Lane Thomas and Kyle Isbell. Yeah. Starling Marte is an improvement over Nick Lofton. These are improvements to the roster. And look, over the next couple of weeks, some of these guys are going to get a real opportunity anyway because, 8 of the starting 26 of the Major League roster are heading to the World Baseball Classic, something like that, right?
That's a good chunk. Yep.
Cags, Vinny, Bobby, Michael, Salvi, Waka. Who am I forgetting? Lugo, right? So, it's the whole team. It's like a third of the roster. Maybe half the roster. Damn, it really is the whole team.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold, you drew. Text line 913-586-7965. And, of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, we live stream the show 4 hours every single day. Follow us on YouTube or on Twitch. Like and subscribe. Pop to the top of your feed and interact with us over there. Gold always says, I wish I could show you the text line. Those are text lines that you can see, as in the groups of people interact with each other throughout our show specifically. We're very good about being in those chats. I'm going to give Royals Review credit for this, but I'm going to expand it beyond just baseball because I don't want to limit our scope, I want us to open this thing up. Over the weekend, they had asked, what Royals prospect were you just dead wrong about? And it brought up some of the names that I was familiar with, right? Shane Costa. I definitely thought Ryan Sheely was going to be the goods. There's a few over the years. But I just want you to make this sports-wise, right? College football, into the NFL, MLB, if that's your sport. I want your answer of the prospect that will haunt you forever, that you were like, this guy is great. This guy will be great. And they were never what you thought they were going to be from a prospect to a pro. That's the random question I have for you today. There's going to be a few names here.
Yeah, a couple come to mind. Now, admittedly, these were not the first two were not first round picks. So, they're not guys that were
that's fine.
bust.
You still thought they were going to be
fan
good.
favorites of yours? Like
Sometimes guys not first round picks. Sometimes it's just like a guy you believe in.
So this first one, I remember being at Chiefs. This is when Chiefs minicamp when they used to do it at Arrowhead, and Bob Gretz was like emceeing it. This is way back. So this is for me, this was late 90s, early 2000s. You remember the name Snoop Menace?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Snoop.
Drew, you remember Snoop?
I recognize his name. Yeah.
Third round pick out of Florida State. I was convinced. He was going to be. He only had 2 years in the league, guys. I'm looking up his numbers now. He played 11 games his rookie year, started 11 games his rookie year, 33 catches, 511 yards. Year 2 only played in 2 games. Career over.
I was pretty high on MJ Melendez.
They were both wide receivers, Snoop Menace and Sammy Parker out of Oregon. Remember Sammy Parker?
Oh, yeah. Sammy Parker, I was never a believer of him. But I will say that Snoop Menace is an interesting one.
Yeah.
In the sense
I think I like the name, too.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's probably what it was. Yeah. I was like 12 years old or whatever. And then Sammy Parker. Now I was old. I was 13 or 14. Sammy Parker, he was a 4th-round pick for the Chiefs out of Oregon. And he ended up playing 4 years with the Chiefs, and then that was it. He's actually a wide receiver coach with Deshaun Jackson. He's a wide receiver coach with Deshaun Jackson at Delaware State right now.
Adalberto Mondesi.
Oh, well, sure.
Is my single biggest maybe on-air miss ever, and I've had a few. But Bubba Starling, because he played well in the minors, and he was this multi-sport athlete, people definitely thought he was going to be the goods.
So somebody took one of mine. I've got a couple of them for you. One of them, Kansas City Chief, former Chief Glenn Dorsey. I loved me some Glenn Dorsey at LSU. He was so good, and he just didn't pan out to be anything of what he was at LSU when he was in the pros. Somebody also mentioned
5th overall pick.
Man, that one's tough. Somebody mentioned Shabazz Napier. It's a good one.
Okay.
I thought Trey Burke was going to be a guy. Like he had an okay NBA career. It wasn't great by any means. I thought he was the goods. The main person
He was
for
fun
me,
to watch in college.
the main one for me, Steve Slayton. You remember Steve Slayton, West Virginia running back with Pat White? Talk about highlight tapes. This man, I went and I looked up his numbers, by the way. In college.
He was too small, wasn't he?
I think that might have been some of it. In college, Steve Slayton his worst season was 1,000 yards rushing. He had 1,700 in his second season at West Virginia. He got over 1,000 yards one time in the NFL, and that was his rookie year, he was never the same.
He was awesome on NCAA college football. That's all I remember. The speed, Steve Slayton, the speed of him was nuts.
Those West Virginia offenses, I thought he was going to be it. I thought he was the guy. He got over 500 yards one time in his career.
You could easily do this conversation just on quarterbacks because Text Line's not mentioning some basketball players too, like Carlton Bragg.
Oh, man.
The quarterback that I thought the team absolutely nailed, Christian Ponder. I was like, oh, that guy can play.
Hey,
Christian. And look, it's tough to admit now. I thought, I wanted the Chiefs. I was like, they're kind of in quarterback no man's land. Christian Ponder, that guy can play. He's a good. That guy. Prototypical. Dude, he looked like a quarterback. Looked like a quarterback made in a factory. Stunk. Awful quarterback.
Great.
Yeah, if we're going by, if I have to give you a position other than quarterback, this is funny in hindsight because, of course, ultimately the Chiefs ended up a year later drafting Patrick Mahomes. At the time, I was devastated that the Broncos drafted Paxton Lynch. I was like, oh no. I was like, no. We're gonna have to do a Paxton Lynch for a decade. Whoops. Fortunately, he whiffed.
They solved that problem for you.
That was the rotation of bad Broncos quarterbacks that were taken.
People mentioning Justin Fields and EJ Manuel and some of the other quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are just an easy one.
Another Florida State quarterback.
Yeah. It's an easy one to get stuck on. The Royals prospects, the problem is like when they come up, because like I also still very high on Jack Caglione. Like maybe one day, but like
you liked Asa Lacy.
I really liked Asa Lacy. I loved that pick. Is he even in the organization?
Do we know? Does he exist?
I genuinely do not know. I loved that pick by them. I thought he was going to be in the majors in a couple of years. I don't even know if he hasn't pitched in professional baseball in years, I don't think.
He's on he was on the full season injured list last year.
He has not pitched.
He can't stay healthy.
He has not pitched for the Royals organization since 2022. That was 4 years ago.
Dang.
He's still technically with the team.
He is.
But it's crazy because like Asa Lacy, I was never high on Nolan Watson or Ash Russell, two guys that flamed out for the Royals. But like Ryan Shealy, this is where I've always gotten in trouble in mine. It's kind of like the Algier effect, but like to a much bigger effect. I was convinced the only reason Ryan Shealy wasn't already an all-star is because he was stuck behind Todd Helton. And they couldn't make room at first base for him. And if you just get that man on the field, this is going to work out.
Oh, you're not even talking about a prospect. You're talking about someone they traded for.
But at that time, he was a prospect because he was like AAA going into the majors. And I was just like, oh, it's just because he can't get behind future Hall of Famer Todd Helton's holding the man back. He ended up having one of the slowest baseball swings I've ever seen.
Someone says, look up who Potter's wife is. Yeah, we all. I mean, it's like well known. It's not like
she was a reporter at ESPN for a long time.
Yeah, it's a pretty well known thing.
Kyle Zimmer too, man. Injuries might have been his thing though. Sometimes it stinks when it doesn't feel like it was the players, just they couldn't get healthy.
Greg Oden obviously is one that with the injury stuff.
Yeah, I did think
Brandon Roy with the injury stuff too at Portland.
I did think
never fully panned out.
I like all the names that are getting mentioned on there.
People, of course, dropping Todd Marinovich in here on the text line as well. Nick Prado, yeah.
Look, he's had a perfectly fine career, as in like he's been an NBA player a long time. I thought George Niang was going to immediately work in the NBA.
Like he's honestly carved out a solid career, to be honest.
It's been a fine career, but I thought
he's 32.
But I thought he was going to be like great in the NBA. I watched him play. I was like,
slow.
He essentially just plays like an NBA player, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
He looked fast in college because he was playing against him. He was just so much more skilled. Drew. That's what
bigger,
it was.
Yeah,
he was the most. He was one of the most skilled college basketball players I could remember. I'm like, oh man, this guy's going to immediately just going to play 30 minutes.
He's doing all right.
NBA.
He's earned $48 million in his NBA career, which
he's carved out a solid.
He's all right. He's all good.
I did think that. I thought there was.
Hasheem Thabeet. A lot of teams.
Hasheem Thabeet is.
He got taken second overall.
By the Grizzlies.
I thought he was going to be good too. 7 foot tall and athletic. I thought, how's that not work? I don't think I thought he was going to be a superstar.
Who was picked before him too at one? Somebody who wasn't good either. I think there was. I don't. If I remember
somebody
right.
really good. I think around to beat some really good, like Lillard or something. Some really good players.
Dame was yeah.
2009, right? Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin.
Oh, he was number one. I'm sorry. Yes,
Blake Griffin went one.
Was very
one
good,
was Griffin. Hashim was 2. James Harden went 3. Tyreek Evans 4.
Steph Curry 7.
Ricky Rubio.
Memphis.
Ricky Rubio went 5.
Memphis.
Johnny Flynn goes 6. And one spot in front of Johnny Flynn, or one spot, the spot is
Syracuse guy.
Steph Curry went 7. Johnny Flynn went 6.
Oh my! Memphis and Minnesota took Flynn, right?
It's still all time that Rubio and Flynn, Evans, Rubio, Flynn went 4, 5, 6 right ahead of Steph.
Minnesota took Rubio and Flynn.
Flynn, remember his rights? They didn't even have his rights, or not Flynn. Rubio, they didn't even have his rights for a while. He never ended up even playing.
Come on, Memphis.
He never even made
Minnesota.
the NBA.
Jeez.
Huh. There you go.
NBA drafts. If you
There's
want
another guy I thought was going to be good, Tyler Hansbrough.
He was picked in the first round by the Pacers.
13th overall, man.
Yeah, it didn't quite. He was one that didn't quite work out. He was one of those guys that you say great college player. I mean, Tim Tebow, great college player.
I mean, there's so many examples. I mean, that same draft class for Arizona, a junior came out of college, Jordan Hill. He was picked 8th by the Knicks, and you probably don't even know who the hell that guy is. He had actually an 8-year career.
The NBA had a bad stretch of top draft picks, like from 20. There was a stretch of like 5 to 7 years of holy smokes, these guys would never go in the top 10. I thought Michael Carter Williams was going to be the goods out of Syracuse. I thought he was going to be awesome. He played 5 years probably.
Yeah. Someone says Zion Williamson bust.
Zion is having a great season, by the way.
He went to the wrong team.
Up until he sprained his ankle, he's had a really good season.
But he's been a
the Pelicans stink, I think, is what a lot of people.
He's been a bust still, though.
He has not been what the hype on him
Does that make you a bust, though?
If you're the number 1 overall pick,
yes,
versus where you were selected, I think so.
Because I think you could argue Blake Griffin wasn't all of what.
He wasn't.
The Clippers
had a nice career,
but he's been more than Zion Williamson's been in his career to this point. This run that Drew was talking about, 2005, the Bucks took Andrew Bogut. Then the Raptors took Andre Bargnani. Then the Blazers took Odin. Then the Bulls took
that draft
Rose.
was good, actually.
And Rose was great until he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then Blake Griffin. Then it got good. Blake Griffin, John Wall, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis. I mean, these are good
as soon as
players.
you get to like 2013 or 14, like the Andrew Wiggins draft, you're like, holy smokes,
it got bad there
names,
for a while.
Man. It was bad.
Anthony Bennett.
Yep, that was the worst
Andrew
one.
Wiggins. Then Cat, he's been very good. Then Ben Simmons. And for a while, the Ben Simmons one looked like it was going to work until it turned out he hates playing basketball and won't shoot. Then Markelle Fultz, DeAndre Ayton, it got bad there for a stretch. At least we're back, you know. The
NBA drafted, we are full on back.
The top players, are they going to figure out their
this year.
tanking, you know?
Yeah, that's a big changes coming in the NBA in the offseason. All right, that's the random question of the day. Up next, the Combine is in the rearview mirror. Some of the storylines out of that and how it could impact the Chiefs at 9. Plus, update on local basketball from the weekend where Kansas got throttled by Arizona.
Cody and Gold.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Is your garage door too loud and whining for help? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City will make it all better. They will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City at 816-221-0072 or schedule online at overheaddoorkc.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexspicekc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Spies KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
In Kansas, truth is told in speed. Wide open, full bore, and no mercy. Season momentum earned 3 and 4 wide. Loud, intense, inches predicting outcomes. Blink and miss.
They bang sideways.
What just happened? Pure speed whipping across the plains.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, April 18th and 19th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
You can swirl it, you can sip it, but the best way is to share it. Hey y'all, I'm Deanna, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You get that bold flavor of the Coke mixed with the smooth deliciousness of the vanilla ice cream. You have a juicy filet and a smooth, creamy float. It's an awesome pairing.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. Their max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ Soft Serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into Soft Serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
The Drives Pop-A-Shot Tournament is Wednesday, March 18th at Draftcade starting at 6:30. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll talk a little KU hoops here in about 8 minutes or so and what Saturday tells us about them moving forward as we have now reached the month of March. Big 12 tournament a week or so away. And, of course, March Madness Selection Sunday, just a couple Sundays away. We'll also talk a little bit about Canada. I was up there. That's why I was gone on Thursday and Friday. So a couple experiences from up there to run by you guys, including what would have happened if I would have worn the USA hoodie. And I think I was going to be just fine, as a matter of fact. Ultimately, it did not show up in time. So we'll talk about that, plus some of the food. I think you'll be proud of me for some of the food I tried as a picky eater. So,
I would like you to try other,
and
more,
I did.
would say,
and I did.
riskier foods,
and I did.
maybe even.
I did.
Knowing that this experience went well.
So we'll get there. Had a good time up in Montreal. In Indianapolis, though, the Combine wrapped up. I saw some of the headlines coming out of that, and some of them are predictable. we discussed Jeremiah Love a lot, and there was no way the combine really was going to go bad for him. I mean, it's perfect for him. And he delivered.
Although they did seem disappointed with his 4.36 40, which is a perfectly fine 40.
He wasn't the fastest running back. That was the kid out of Arkansas, Washington or whatever, junior, who was really impressive and helped his draft stock. I just think trying to balance what's overreaction, what really matters. You know, we had Bink on earlier talking about some of these guys, and did it change your opinion? I mean, Carnell Tate was quote-unquote slow at the combine. And so everybody's trying to figure out, well, what does that tell you about him now? And I don't know where you had Carnell Tate. You thought he was the best receiver in the draft.
I like Mekhi Lemon better, but he apparently had a bad week of interviews.
Whatever it may be, I guess the 40 time, if you were already someone that loved Carnell Tate at 9 for the Chiefs, is the 40 time now you're just like, nope, I'm out. I just think it's silly. I think it's silly. I really do.
Yeah, Again, if you liked Bain or Tate, great week. If you didn't like him, this was just more ammunition he needed to say no thanks.
Yeah.
Like, I liked Bain fine. I would have been fine with him at 9. His arms being shorter is not going to completely deter me from 9, but because I was on the fence, it might be one more piece of information that says, if there's a different available player that I also like, maybe I'm just talked into them instead. Not completely off the board, not no chance, or I'd give it no entertainment, but maybe there is a side that would prevent me or on the fringe. But if you were a hard yes or a hard no, the combine shouldn't really change much for you. Other than, look how hard it was. Carnell Tate ran slow.
He did.
And look, but all 3 wide receivers have the same issues. Carnell Tate's never been a 1. He ran slow. Jordan Tyson's never been healthy. He's been a 1 and probably been the most productive and true, X-looking wide receiver Mike Evans type in the entire draft, but has never been healthy. And then Mekhi Lemon comes with a lot more unknowns, partially because in those Pac-12 schools at USC, you just don't really know what you're getting sometimes, and he's shorter. He's got some size issues that the other guys don't have. Although I was happy, I guess, Drew, this is the same thing. If you like Mekhi Lemon, which I do, and then you see that he wasn't Diego Paviing it, and he measured at 5'11", after saying he was 5'11", I'm like, okay, great. He is that height. There's a real risk, Gold, of he's 5'9", 5'10". And that's the same thing with Tate. Maybe that's enough information to be like, if you were on the fence, not interested, or not interested at 9. I think we need to discuss the real possibility of trading down. I think that based on the amount of positions, and some of the ones that took a little bit of a hit, defensive line, wide receiver, there is an argument for, could you pick at 14 or 15? Could you pick a little
Depends
later?
on, I guess, how many first-round grades you have. If you think you're not going to trade out of a spot to get what you consider, quote-unquote, a first-round grade, I guess, if you will.
And they're at 9 where, some of the top players that look like they're going to be there, they're at positions that I would argue are not...
Oh, yeah.
Really
Safety,
the top,
linebacker,
tight end, right tackle. You can get maybe the best at those positions, but this is always the argument, right? Do you take best player available / need? I think you can do both. I think it's best player available within 3 positions is kind of how I view it. If the Chiefs are just going to strictly go best player available, number 1 on their board, that position doesn't matter. Well, then Jeremiah Love would be heavily in play at 9, or the tackle Fanu or whatever, if he makes it there, would be in play. I'm hoping that Love impressed so much of the combine that a team like the Saints or somebody else just says, screw it, and takes Love. And he's going to go higher than we think, guys. And Love just goes, in the top 7 or top 8 of the draft. And then it takes it out of the Chiefs' hands completely. I do right now believe, depending on a free agent signing at running back in the next week or two, we're going to continue to see a lot of noise through mock drafts and through insiders, because I think the Chiefs will be feeding them the information. That the Love pick to 9, people are going to talk themselves into that.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to ask somebody. Maybe
I hope that's not the case.
Maybe we can have Verderame on later in the week, because you were in Montreal, so you might not have seen it. Mekhi Lemon had so there's reports that he did bad in his one-on-one interviews.
Okay,
but at the podium, he borderline had an Adam Gase situation.
Did you
really?
see it at all?
Dude, it got
just search Mekhi Lemon on Twitter and it'll pop up.
His demeanor and physical actions it was very Adam Gase. Would you agree with that? He's looking
There's
around
some
weird.
there's some
He's
level to
moving
that.
weird.
He's staring somebody dead in the eye.
He's staring someone in the eye. It's just
like
his
looking.
demeanor came off weird.
Okay, all
And I
right.
like, again,
this.
I like Makai. Yeah, dude. Like a snake in the grass or something. That'd be a good way to describe it.
That actually might be.
Like the way you were moving, looked like you were trying to do like a car.
I'm okay.
a cartoon
down.
snake.
Hold on.
So he had kind of a weird.
Now,
kind of a weird.
It's funny. The take on that I saw. I'm just seeing Willie Colon, who was on with Good Morning Football today. He said that's the intensity I want to see on Sundays. So he's saying it's a good thing, even though, I mean, someone
because he's locked in.
Someone was like, "That's Jack Nicholson in The Shining," is how intense it was. Yeah, I have not seen this. This is bizarre. What the heck?
That was one of the things
He's
that
so
came
locked
up
in.
on Friday.
Yeah, dude. He had kind of a weird moment. He had kind of a weird moment. So like,
Did someone go
and
back
again,
and look
if you
at
didn't-
college? Was
you
this what
didn't-
was he doing this in press conferences in college too?
I think it would have
I
been
have no
mentioned.
idea.
I don't think so, man.
In terms of players,
Maybe the lights were in his eyes. I don't know.
Okay, or you're trying to see. Yeah, you're trying to see people.
That's the kind of thing you say if you. I'll say his combine. He didn't run, which anymore, and Drew will agree with this. The combine has turned into if you think your 40 time won't be fast enough, you don't run.
No, that's why the average times are so good.
Yeah. If you don't think you're running a 4.44, you don't run. And so he didn't run. He had this weird moment. There were some reports that he quote bombed some like team interviews. I'm like, well, that got weird in a hurry for Lemon. So I don't know. He's got some size issues, and then of course people like grew in love with Kenyon Sadiq and Jeremiah Love.
I mean, he was ridiculous.
913-586-7965. Can I read you a text?
Yeah.
Quote from the 913. You guys literally just said you hope another team drafts Love because he did so well in the combine. You have to be kidding me. You guys have no freaking clue. I don't know why I listened to you. Well, thank you for listening, sir. Number
But
one,
if I don't want them to take him, why would I want somebody else to take him?
One, I feel like we've answered this about 100 times. Two, respectfully, you think we don't. You clearly don't know how to listen because we've explained it about 100 times. Number one, the Chiefs, as in the Chiefs who are taking them at a player at 9, not the Browns, not the Saints, not the Chiefs. Number one, positional value. In Andy Reid's system, I do not think the Chiefs will get the full use out of Jeremiah Love the way another team will. Number two, running back financial compensation. There are free agent running backs that will make less money than Jeremiah Love will with completely unknown factor in the NFL. So I can go and get a player like a Breece Hall or a Kenneth Walker or an Algier or an Aaron Jones for less money than Jeremiah Love at 9. Jeremiah Love at 9 has to be a top 3, top 4 back in football. I think that's unlikely to happen. So you can disagree with the logic, but acting as if we haven't explained it, I mean, this has been pretty clear for a while. But anyway.
Yeah, it's more about, and you and I, this is the thing. Jeremiah Love.
Thanks for listening to the show, though.
Jeremiah Love is, in my opinion, as good of a running back prospect as Ashton Genty was last year. And when we were briefly on the show joking about Ashton Genty, if he were available at 31 and be like, yeah, sure, because we knew he wouldn't be available then. It's just pick value versus pick price. And the Chiefs' current roster situation versus what it was even just a year ago. I will say the thing that tempts me about Love or Sadiq in these non-valuable, typically, positions or lower outage, because if Kenyon Sadiq works at number 9, he's like an 850-yard wide receiver every year. Dead serious. And it's like, well, 9, that's just not like enough for me. It's an excellent tight end. It's one of the best tight ends in the league. But at 9, I want Patrick Mahomes, if I'm taking a weapon, I want Patrick Mahomes' key weapon for the next decade. And at running back, I can't be sure about that. And at tight end, it comes with a lower probability.
I just think in a different,
and
truly
that's
in a
where I
different,
run into an issue.
If Patrick
different draft, different year, different pick.
If Patrick Mahomes wasn't the quarterback and Andy Reid wasn't the head coach, and we were in, truly, like if we were in New Orleans or somewhere else, I think the answer is also different.
Yeah.
Like Andy Reid, like we all think he needs to adapt and go under center more or whatever. And whether or not they do that, we'll all find out. None of us know if they truly will. But they are never going to be an offense to me that is going to fully utilize the running back position to me the way you need to if you're taking one at 9.
I mean, they did it with Kareem Hunt, I would argue, in a single year. So, like, they have done it, but it's really been since then. So, and I do think that that's going back to when they took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think they took him because they remembered that year, when the year and whatever it was, 5 games, 6 games before Kareem Hunt got kicked off the team.
2018?
And the entire time that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have been together, the single best their offense has ever looked is when they had an elite running back and they used him well. They didn't use him like the way teams use Saquon Barkley and they got 400 carries. But they were a multi-tool weapon across the field, being used in every way, and man, were they fun. Oh, the best version of any offense they've ever had. They also had prime Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. So pretending like just running back was the reason why is not that.
And we all agree
sometimes you can get a running back like that anywhere. They got Kareem Hunt in the third.
We all agree they need to be more explosive at running back. That's been the big thing. I just think they can do that without spending the 9th overall pick. That's where we disagree. Like, I think they can do that in free agency. I think they could do a combination of free agency and a 2nd or 3rd round pick and get the job done without having to go to the ultimate extreme. The first top 10 pick the Chiefs have had in the Brett Veach era, I don't want them using on a running back. Just philosophically, that's all.
I guess part of this is
we'll see. And this is like Jeremiah. I don't even expect to be sitting here a year from now and being able to. I'm not going to be able to sit here a year from now and tell you that Jeremiah Love sucks. That's not my take. My take is not that I think he's going to stink and have a bad NFL career.
How often is it? I guess this is the other question I would ask. How often is it that the number 1 running back taken in any given class is the best running back out of that class? Let's take last year out of it, because it could still end up being Ashton Genty, but not enough evidence. I think 2 years is more than enough because you find out. Is Jonathan Brooks the best running back out of the 2024 class? No, Bucky Irving is. He was taken in the 7th round, or 6th round, sorry. 2023, yeah, Bijan Robinson's the best. Jahmyr Gibbs is a close second. Both guys taken in the 1st round. I'll make my argument, but I would tell you that there are some. Chase Brown was taken in the 5th. Chase Brown has been a very, very, very good running back, and he was taken in the 5th. Not as good as those two guys. Fine. In 2022, Breece Hall, maybe. But I would answer James Cook, who was taken in the 7th round, is probably the best, right? Okay, so now let's get to 2021, and then I'll stop this exercise. 2021, Najee Harris was the number 1 running back taken in the draft. He is not the best running back out of that class. The best running back is probably, is it ETN? No, Javonte Williams. That's just not a particularly
someone's asking,
good class.
Would you use
Hubbard or Ramondre? 4th rounders, 3rd rounders. You can find good running backs everywhere. I don't want to take one at 9.
I'm not even going to that extent where it's just like, oh, you can just get a running back just as good. That's not even my argument. But like someone said, would you use the pick on Saquon or CMC? You're saying like rookie year, go back in time, I can get Saquon at 22 years old. Would I pick him at 9?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, you
100%.
can't. You and I can't guarantee that, right? So yes, if you could 1,000% guarantee me that Jeremiah Love at 9 is Christian McCaffrey or Bijan,
I'm in.
I think he's as good as those. I think he'll have a rookie season as good as those guys. I think he's that good.
And he has to have more than just one of them, though. That's the thing. For him to be those guys, he's got to do that for 4 years.
I mean, sure. I think.
Well, that's the truth, though. It can't just be 1 year.
I understand that, but I think the same is for Carnell Tate. If he comes out and he has 600 yards, I pick 9. He's got to get to 1,000 eventually.
But Ashton Genty, they thought they were going to be that, right? I'm sure when the Panthers took
Jonathan, I think there's for the pick 9. If you're going to take Jeremiah Love, you have to know that he's going to help Patrick Mahomes. I think that's why you take Jeremiah Love or you take Kenyon Sadiq, because that ultimately is the whole thing. Why are you taking a wide receiver? It's to help Patrick Mahomes. I think you can argue the same thing for Sadiq at 9. You could argue the same thing for Jeremiah Love at 9. Any of those 3 players
have to have an impact.
Have
sure,
to
I
have
just
that
think
impact right away, and I think Jeremiah Love is the most likely to have that immediate impact, at least right away.
He could be. I would still go. It's the financial end. We know for crying out loud that Alec Pierce might get an $80 million contract. That's a wide receiver. It is way more valuable if I nail the wide receiver pick at 9 than it is running back. It's just I'm looking. It's not just about drafting a player for 2026. It's the long-term 26 through 2030 aspect of it.
It's easy to mention, and I don't blame people for doing it. It's easy to mention CMC or Saquon Barkley or Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs. These are 4 guys all taken in the top 10 in the last few years that have really worked out. Do you know who was taken? Do you remember who was taken in the 1st round before Christian McCaffrey? What if they're that? Would you take it? Do you remember the running back?
No.
Leonard Fournette Would you take? And he had a perfectly fine career, but would you? But at number 9, if I guaranteed you Jeremiah Love was Leonard Fournette, would you take it?
Yeah, but he's not the style of him.
That doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like the quality of back. Fine.
I think it does because
he's Ashton Genty.
Because
I'll give you last year's.
He's only had 1 year.
I think Leonard Fournette, in terms of comparison, Leonard Fournette is more of Ashton Genty than he is Jeremiah Love. I think Jeremiah Love is more of Jahmyr Gibbs. He's more Saquon. He's more particularly CMC, Alvin Kamara. That's why I think people are mocking him to the Saints because he does
play a lot.
He is Alvin Kamara. I think that's the plus. Just knowing in terms of like the shotguns, I know that we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Tyler Algier, if they bring Tyler Algier in, they have to run under center more because he's not the style of back at all that plays out of shotgun. They run more shotgun. Jeremiah Love fits what they do from that capacity that I think makes it alleviates the pressure a little bit more on Patrick Mahomes when you have that playmaker at running back. I think that's also the big thing is you can get Emmett Johnson or Jonah Coleman really
You're saying this applies to each of the positions that we already mentioned. Tight end, safety, and running back.
Yeah.
If you guarantee me Jeremiah Love is Bijan Robinson, I'll take him. If you guarantee me Kenyon Sadiq is Trey McBride, I'm in. You want to tell me Caleb Downs is Kyle Hamilton? Sold. Like, if you want to get, but like the odds of getting those players, even at 9, are low.
They're more likely than Carnell Tate being the guy that you want, though. At 9, in my opinion, they're more likely than any wide receiver you can take at 9.
But the drop,
I don't disagree.
But there's a floor part of this too. The drop-off part of this, as if Carnell Tate is T. Higgins, like you mentioned, and I just get like a good NFL wide receiver. That's more valuable to me than if I just get a good NFL running back. If I get Cole Kmet at 9, or I get average NFL running back at 9, if I get average NFL wide receiver, I get way more out of it, way more than if those guys, if the similar drop off. If Carnell Tate, but I still could get, right? Let's say it's more likely I get Bijan Robinson with Jeremiah Love, or it's more likely I get Brock Bowers at number 9, and I get those guys. It is also more likely that I get a league average, solid wide receiver for Mahomes. The basement is far lower, so much lower. And at 9, it's like there's only so much risk I want to take. I just want like a good player. You know, like they got to be at least a good player.
See, but to me, if you want a good player, then I think Love and Sadiq are the pick over Carnell Tate. In a heart, I would take right away. I would take those two guys over them in a heartbeat. I'd take Bain. I would. Well,
I mean, number one,
if
positionally,
just floor being a good player, I would take all 3 of those guys.
Positionally,
Down,
I mean,
same thing.
I haven't changed on that. Positionally, I want a defensive lineman. If we're just going off of, I think that is the more pressing need than anything. And I also, again, think they can just address free agency enough, running back in free agency enough. Whereas you're not really going to be able to do that all that much at the defensive line position, and the wide receiver market is kind of outrageous when Alec Pierce is going to get $80 million.
Somebody said Ashton Genty had a better year than I'm giving him credit for. Did he?
I don't think it's fair to write him off yet.
I am not writing him off.
I don't think you should write Ashton Genty off.
He had like Isaiah Pacheco's rookie.
He had 975 on a terrible offensive line, a terrible offense, a terrible football team.
Yeah. Look, he's a very good player. But like if lately, when you're taking a running back in the top 5, it has been working out for the most part for those teams. To your point, Drew, like I am more likely to have a successful. I will say this: a year 1 impact player, no doubt. Almost no doubt, right?
I mean, but if Love comes in and gives us 1,300 scrimmage yards and 10 touchdowns, yes, I would also love that.
In fairness, that's what Genty had. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I would love that. Go look at the carries. You think that the Chiefs' offense though is going the way they operate that's going to be how they operate with I almost said Jordan Love with Jeremiah Love.
I mean, to bring up
I think part of the problem is you can say it's a scheme fit for Kansas City. Sure, I just know deep down Andy Reid can't help himself, and he's not going to give the workload to Jeremiah Love the way we all think he's going to.
But I think to Cody's point, because you brought this up, Cody, is that when they know they have a good one, they've used them.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, the problem with the 20.
That's the only thing that I would say to that.
The problem with the 2018 example that Cody brought up.
They had other weapons. I brought that.
Well, they had other weapons, but also the whole league has shifted. They were not playing 2 high safeties in 2018. You know how much Mahomes would love to go back to 2018 when everybody was making it easy on him?
Sure. Yeah.
And everybody shifted. The whole league shifted. That does not exist anymore. It was a combination of a lot of things that led to them having success in 2018.
Sure, but also like running backs matter more, so maybe they would use it more. I don't know. And look, it's tough. And I think a lot of Chiefs fans, here's the thing, and Alex and I said this before, it's not that I do not think Jeremiah Love's a good player. If they end up taking him at 9, I am going to disagree with the selection from a value of the position standpoint. That doesn't mean I'm going to be rooting against him. I hope he's I hope he's 1,300 all-purpose yards and 10 touchdowns. Of course I do.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's Kareem Hunt in his rookie year. Absolutely. But Drew, and this is the other part I was talking about when it relates to the positional value at number 9 and what you're talking about at running back. Drew, I am, more than any of the other position we've talked about, defensive tackle, defensive end, tackle, the odds of me finding a top 7 back in the NFL, the way let's say Genty's a top 10 back. Let's just give him that. He's the 10th best running back in the NFL. The odds of me finding the 10th best running back in the NFL outside of pick 9, I can throw a dart. I can point to one in every draft in the last 15 years and find you a top 10 running back actively in the NFL that was not selected in the first round. That was second round or later. I can find them everywhere. And I'm not saying 7th round. That's where you and I got in this argument over, not you and I, you and the fans, where I got tired of them taking Pacheco and then taking Brashard Smith. And then I had to listen to fans tell me that Brashard Smith was going to be the goods. And I'm like, he's a 7th round pick. You can't just keep taking him in the 7th round and hope. You have to put some kind of asset into it. I just don't think it has to be asset pick number 9. That's my only argument. I just don't want it at 9. If they were picking at 21 Gold, I'd be praying Jeremiah Love fell to them. That's just the difference in
I still think what happens.
I would take a defender then. I would just do
yes,
but I think
that's been for 2 months.
But as we're having the conversation
about weapons,
if we're having the conversation about weapons, like you can Devontae Adams 2nd round pick, T Higgins 2nd round pick, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think he was a 1st round pick. Puka Nacua was a 4th round pick. Like
5th round.
But I think you in terms of like dart throws, like you can do the same thing with wide receiver. I think in some way, shape, or form, except for the top elite guys, which is where I think Jeremiah Love falls into that. Where if you could say a top 5 running back, you're not getting the likelihood that you get a top 5 running back, and even the 2nd round or later, is not nearly as high as you would getting a wide receiver to be that, just based on what we've seen. Saquon, CMC, Jahmyr Gibbs, those sort of guys compared to the Pukas.
I have to think about it. JSN was a 1st round pick. He's one of the top. Puka was a 5th. Pickens was a 2nd. Jamar Chase was a top 10 pick.
Yeah, top 5 pick. Justin Jefferson was a 1st round pick.
It's probably more like I think it's probably the same. I'll give you the same as running back.
I just think because if we obviously I think we all agree for sure that they should just take a defense, like they should take Rusher or they should even take Caleb Downs. Like if he's there, take him.
There is a part of me, and I've said this before, there's a huge part of me still that is intrigued though by the idea that for the long-term health of this team, I understand they have to replace Chris Jones. But with Patrick Mahomes and the offensive line and all this other stuff, I want Patrick Mahomes' number 1 weapon for the foreseeable future. I don't want to have to, like the way they were doing with the offensive line. I want to keep guessing on that. Finding ancillary pieces around him are easier. The problem with running back is even if he's the number 1, for how long? Like I watched, like Todd Gurley be the number 1 weapon for the Rams for 4 years and then he wasn't in the league anymore at 27. There's a longevity part that concerns me too at running back, Drew, in fairness. That even if they are a star, maybe the guys are lasting longer. I don't know. But nobody, I'll tell you this much. He's not built like Saquon, right? He's not built like Derrick Henry. So I don't think he can just like take an NFL beating for a decade.
That's also why you got the dual threat. That's why you have the duo. It's not you're not just asking Jeremiah Love to do everything. It's bringing in that the Tyler Algier or whoever it is.
Super interesting year for the draft. As a reminder, Alex and I will be there in Pittsburgh for Thursday and Friday night of the NFL draft. Don't know exactly what that'll look like yet, but we will be there. Bringing you coverage right here on 96.5 The Fan.
All right, up next, let's get a little what's trending, get you caught up on a trade that happened today and whether you would make it for this running back if the Chiefs could have, if they were even interested in a running back that is now a member of the Houston Texans. Talk a little bit about the trip up to Canada and on Kansas's weekend against Arizona.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Discover a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026.
College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings each and every night. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger wins with the College Basketball Parlay Profit Boost. Here's how it works. Build any college hoops parlay you like. The early tip, the rivalry game, the ranked matchup, the late night West Coast shootout. Whatever you like. You can mix spreads, totals, props, whatever fits your read of the slate. Then you go apply your profit boost and instantly boost up that potential payout. You can play it safe. You can go spicy. You can go with the team that you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside than ever before with the College Basketball Parlay Profit Boost. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. Remember, FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook app. Play your way. It's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable boost builder tokens which comply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending, the Texans have acquired Lions running back David Montgomery. So the veteran heads over to Houston from Detroit. There were rumors over the weekend that this was going to happen. The exact compensation, the Lions got a nice haul, I would say, for a 29-year-old running back, or soon-to-be 29-year-old running back. Fourth-round pick, an offensive lineman named Juice Scruggs, and a seventh-round pick. The Texans desperately need a run game. Woody Marks came on in the middle of the year, but that was it. Joe Mixon was a bust of signing. That was a disaster for them past year. Never played. Damian Pierce is now in Kansas City. So Woody Marks and David Montgomery will be the backfield there for the Texans. The Lions still have Jahmyr Gibbs. And I guess
whoever. It'll be my official prediction is Isaiah Pacheco, by the way, for what it's worth. Similar, like the style nature actually makes a lot of sense, Drew. And if they just say, well, he doesn't have to stay healthy all the time, we got Jahmyr Gibbs. I also think Jahmyr Gibbs will just get a larger workload. Next up on What's Trending, the Chiefs have informed Jawaan Taylor that he will be cut before the league year if a trade cannot be done. I still think there's a chance, a small chance, that a 6th or a 7th round pick could be done. There's a lot of teams still looking for tackle help in the NFL. We'll see if that means if the Chiefs are more interested in tackle in the draft. The Commanders have also informed cornerback Marshawn Lattimore he will be released before the league begins next year as well. That's expected to save them $18.5 million against the cap. He'd been expected since Lattimore suffered a season-ending injury in November. Now, there are plenty of teams looking for corners, so maybe Marshawn Lattimore, another one. But he's coming off a torn ACL at 29 years old. He's expected to be cut by the Washington Commanders.
Elsewhere, we take a look at college basketball. We're going to talk about it in a second, but Kansas lost 84-61 over the weekend to Arizona. Missouri got a win against Mississippi State, 88-64. The Kansas State Wildcats fell to TCU 77-68. There's a big-time game in the Big 12 tonight. Big Monday, top 5 Iowa State against top 5 Arizona. Could shift the Big 12 standings a little bit.
Yeah, I would say so. And obviously, K-State and MU play later in the week. So we'll see. But good win for Missouri, by the way. It's not Mississippi State's no good, but at least good that you got it. Next up on What Trending Sporting, Kansas City opened up their season with a 2-2 draw against Columbus. So obviously a good result, honestly, for Sporting, considering what kind of season they're expected to have. KC Current will open up their season, what, in a month? When's their opener?
Later this month, right?
Later
or am
this
I
month,
off on
right?
that?
No, I think it's right. I'm still confused that it's March.
Yeah.
And
March 14th.
Oh, 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks, 12 days.
Yeah.
So they'll open up theirs against Utah Royals FC. That's the team they took over.
Yeah, that's true.
As you remember.
The old ownership group.
Yep. And then they helped the NWSL grow, and then obviously a couple of those teams came back. I'm really looking forward to. I haven't been down yet. The Bridgeport area is supposed to open here very soon, and then the bridge area, right, with like that all that. I can't remember what the name of it's called.
The
Rockport Bridge Project is supposed to be open, and then all that stuff that's getting grown down the riverfront. I'm really excited to visit some of that.
Rock Island.
Want to go check out the new
Rock Island, yeah.
I want to go check out the new amphitheater and stuff, maybe
Yeah, more amphitheater opens up this summer. Lastly, on What's Trending, Paramount confirming it's going to combine its streaming platform Paramount Plus with HBO Max. And so the new platform will hold CBS Sports and TNT Sports properties on one platform. So again, I think every 6 months we get to change. These platforms merge together and they rename it from Max to HBO, Max to HBO, and then Paramount Plus decides to merge, and it's hard to keep up. And I don't know what it means if you already have both. They just drop you from one of them. I have no idea how that works. Dusty was asking us earlier today. I have no idea how it works. All I know is Paramount Plus and HBO Max are combining at some point in the future.
The hell is that? I mean,
didn't that already happen before?
Well, I don't have Paramount.
Yes, because they can't make up their minds.
It was Max, then it became
Yes.
HBO Max only, and now what is it? Yeah. What the heck?
Does that mean I'll just get Paramount for free? Probably not, huh?
For people who have paid for both, they should give you some sort of a deal, at least for like the first 3 months. Where
I don't pay for both. I don't have Paramount. I don't have HBO.
Graded.
Is there anything on Paramount worth watching? I never watched any of the Yellowstone stuff.
Yeah.
Never seen it. Have you seen that?
You're able to get any other replays, I guess, of any. Like I've got it, or I share an account with my sister and brother, or family does, and you can watch any season of any CBS show, essentially
on Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Plus, you get the EFL
What
Championship too on there.
What
Which
CBS
is nice.
shows do I watch though? You know, like if you watch UFC, I get it.
You don't watch FBI, Tracker, Survivor,
No,
Amazing Race?
Never seen any of those. Never
NCIS?
seen. I'm looking up a list now. Never seen Landman or Tulsa King, or the ones I, no. I don't feel like I'd like. I will say, I don't like cheesy cop procedurals. Don't really do anything for me. Like the FBI, CSI, NCIS. You know, like whatever that guy puts on his sunglasses and he goes, yeah, and then he put rare guitar riff stuff on network
CSI.
TV. Doesn't do anything for me. As just like a TV concept.
The
Nothing
Who? You don't
against
like
it.
the Who?
I just meant like the whole scene setup, not not the whole thing. So that's all. Doesn't really do anything for me. That's all. And I've never seen a single episode of Survivor.
Someone said Cody, Beavis and Butthead on Paramount, right up your alley.
Watched that when I was a kid.
I think they've remade it, haven't they? Haven't they reworked it?
Yeah. And then they had like a new season of Dexter, I think, too. I watched the original series, so maybe I'd like. Is the new one any good?
I don't know.
I don't have Paramount Plus, so I wasn't gonna
I don't
go
have
through
Paramount
the trouble
Plus
to go
either.
find it. You know.
I do have HBO Max.
What are you watching? You know, what are you watching these days?
What did I watch most recently? I was going through the Oscar nominations. One of the movies was on there. I can't remember which one.
Okay.
Because I've told you I watched Sinners. Was Sinners on there?
No, it was HBO. Yeah, Sinners. Was
Yeah,
HBO.
it was Sinners. There you go, Sinners.
I've been really trying to look at my phone less, like everyone does, right? You go through these cycles, you're like, I gotta look at my phone less. But also, like, I should watch TV less. So I spent this entire week listening to an audiobook when I was doing stuff at the house rather than just like
Did you get
put
through the whole
background
thing?
TV. I got 4 hours left of a 16-hour audiobook, and I started on Thursday.
Man.
So I'd say that's pretty good progress. Started on Thursday. Now, I listen to it when I drive, too, right? I listened to it on my way in from work today, or my way into work today. And I did a little bit of driving this week, and that's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
for the new movie that's coming out, Project Hail Mary. That's the one I'm reading.
Oh, Ryan Gosling.
I think you'll be proud of me for those of you that give me a hard time on the text line about my picky eating habits. So I was in Montreal. That's why I was gone on Thursday and Friday. Thanks to Bink for filling in. And I had, I guess 2 items I had never had food-wise before, but one definitely a little more adventurous. So was there one of the nights, the menu, one of the dishes included, it was like a pre-selected menu. This was not, I would not have ordered it, admittedly. So I was kind of like, I'll try it. I had venison, Cody, for the first time. It was actually pretty damn good. So in Montreal, it was like very thinly sliced venison, like 4 little slices, like one of the courses. Have you had venison?
I have once, or maybe twice.
Like, look, am I going to go on my way to order it ever? No.
So anytime,
But normally I would have said no, but I was in Montreal and I said, basically F it. And so I did that. And that was, for me, that is actually going out there eating wise. And then once the best food I had the entire time, like poutine, it's okay. But soup dumplings.
They're awesome.
I did not think I'd have to go to Montreal, Canada to find the best like Chinese item I've had in forever at a restaurant. And soup dumplings were absolutely incredible.
I'm
Like
glad-
you would have loved them. They're right there, freshly made. They were in Chinatown. It was so good.
So the only time I ever had venison is like your friend, your friend growing up, dad who hunted and then,
Sure.
eat it that way. So I've had, or venison jerky, like I've had a few times over the years.
So this was like
It's fine.
very tender, thinly sliced
Bit gamey,
venison.
but you're having
it wasn't gamey.
The way I had it
Oh,
was, right?
Yeah.
This should, look, a soup dumpling, admittedly, is a very, 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 like you're applauding yourself, but it's a very low
Oh, I'm
risk
not. No. The venison is the one I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, that one.
The soup dumpling I'm just saying was the best. Was just the best item I
Loved it.
ate. Yeah.
But you try 2 new foods.
I
Try more new foods.
Yeah.
You might find new foods you like, and we always give you a hard time. I'm not sure Drew's a very adventurous eater either. He should probably step out of. He's 30 now. He's trying to, he's obviously it's in it. He's thinking about it more. You should explore more. Try new drinks. Try new food. Try new things.
So if I go on like vacation, I'm more likely to try new food.
I hear you.
Like when we go to the Outer Banks, like I have shark, I have mahi, I have shrimp, I have salmon, I have.
So you'll try any kind of
tilapia.
seafood.
I have. Oh yeah, any
you
kind
go.
of seafood, and I've
had
I don't
shark.
think I've had venison, at least knowingly, I suppose.
Yeah. I will say, going to the Canadians game on Thursday, 2 takeaways. Number one, makes me want an AHL team that much more in Kansas City. It was awesome. And I know the Canadians are known to have one of the best atmospheres, but
yeah, so you went to like the best of the best.
Correct. And I've gone to Vegas, so that's another great atmosphere. So I'm not seeing the random game in San Jose, okay? With the Sharks. Shout out to the random San Jose Shark fan that's out there. I know one. So that was my takeaway with the environment. And the building is cool because of the history. The Bell Center holds 20,000. T-Mobile Center is nicer. It just doesn't have any character because there's no venue. There's no tenant.
That's always been my argument. So, it would be one of the newest hockey arenas in the league.
Yeah, it would have been
top
nicer.
12.
And they've done some upgrades to Bell Center and stuff. And again, the history and stuff is very cool. The other takeaway, Cody, you guys were trying to talk me out of wearing a USA hoodie there.
Yeah, I thought you were going to get your ass kicked.
It did not show up on time. So if you're wondering, the photo I posted, I'm not wearing a USA hoodie. It's because it did not show up on time. I'm about to return it. It finally showed up at UPS a day after I arrived. So that was worthless. They were all super nice next to me, Cody. They would not have said a damn thing about it.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's because you were sitting with the bougie crowd, weren't you? You're in that club level. Everyone's nice in the club level. That's what's going on here.
I was in club
you
level,
were with
but
the people.
I was in club level, but I wasn't. Like, you're acting like I was in a. There was not even a damn cup holder. Okay, I mean it's not like that bougie. Come on, there was no cup holders or anything. That was annoying. I don't know. I couldn't understand why. I had a Molson beer. Why not? I hadn't had beer in 3 months.
I'm not kidding. Binkley said, "What kind of beer do you think he's drinking?" I said, "Molson."
Good call, Cody.
He was.
Is he that or Labatt Blue?
Yeah.
They're big Heineken fans up there too. I thought was interesting. No, I've told you I've tried to cut out beer. I'm still drinking alcohol, but I don't drink beer anymore as much. And that was the first beer I had in a while, and I said, whatever. The other thing I thought was just cool is it was like, you can get by speaking English there because I survived, but the fact that everybody was speaking French, I don't know, it was like the coolest thing to me. I enjoyed just being around that whole atmosphere. Everybody was speaking French. It's such a cool language. I was walking downtown. There are people with grocery bags and there's just baguettes hanging out of the grocery bags. It was just very cool. Montreal is a great, culturally cool city. I went to this basilica that was a block from the hotel from like the 1600s, I think it would have been, right? 1600? I think I got that right. Maybe I'm a little off. Anyway, did you see the photo? Like the detail was absolutely ridiculous with the Notre Dame Basilica.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be religious. Like I'm not Catholic or anything. So but
are there any
venue
Jewish people who are Catholic? Is that
no? It's not possible. It's not possible.
Is that? But well, you could be ethnically Jewish and Catholic, I guess.
Fine.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's likely.
But anyway, point being is like you go in there and it was the architecture was
incredible,
unbelievable.
Cool.
So I did that, and then we did a couple private tour stuff of. I didn't know the world headquarters for Cirque du Soleil was there, which was cool to see.
Have you ever been to a Cirque du Soleil show?
Now I have to go.
They're fun, yeah.
That was the thing because they were talking about it and they did this they had the showing of stuff, but I was like, I need to go see. I need to see it, and then. The 1976 Olympics were in Montreal. It's the 50th anniversary, so the whole Olympic Village, they had a whole tour and everything over there.
You said they were trying to open it, which is cool because
yeah,
a lot of times
they're putting like a ton of money into it now.
The only time I see these Olympic villages is like Rio, and it just looks like it's desolate. Looks like a ghost town. I kind of hate. This is the one thing we've talked about with the U.S., which is nice. Is they don't have to build a new Arrowhead to host World Cup games. They don't have to build new soccer stadiums, new venues, new places. We can host an Olympics and still, for the most part, have a lot of the stuff in the infrastructure, which is nice. But I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you tried new food.
Yeah, man, it was good. It was a good time. I would say in the summertime, probably a better time to go because there's a lot of outdoor festivals and markets and stuff that are obviously not going on in the wintertime. So, yeah. Someone says best city in the U.S. is Boston. Yeah, Boston's on I do want to go to Boston. But, yeah, Montreal had a good mix of, like, old culture, but also there's some modern elements to the city as well. Like I didn't end up taking the subway. I didn't need to for where I was going, but they have a pretty good transit system there in Montreal. It was so weird. I was at the bar and there were people who were sitting next to us, and so I was like, "Yeah, we drove from New Jersey," and like just fathoming that was weird. But it's only a 5.5 hour drive from New Jersey to Montreal.
Yeah, but that's the difference. The U.S. is really big. That happens all the time. If you haven't followed, like people in Europe be like, "Well, you just drive it," and you're like, I'll just drive from this city to this city. You're like, not in this country. I mean, you kidding? 5 hours is a short. Like, you talk about it's a short drive. That would get you all the way across the United Kingdom. You go from top to bottom, left to right.
You get to a new country in some places.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd cross the entire place. in 4 hours.
5 hours from here won't even get me to Indianapolis, where I grew up.
Yeah.
I won't even get to my parents'
for sure.
house.
In the U.S., we talk about 4 or 5 hours like that's a short drive. In different parts of the world, that is not the case.
Yeah, since it wasn't cold. Not much any colder than what we typically would have in winter here. Like Saturday was 41 there. Yesterday was 15 degrees in Montreal. So cold, yes, but not to the point where you're just like unbearable. The issue was it snowed the day before we got there. So it was just a slushy mess walking around downtown for the most part there in Montreal. But
let's talk a little bit about what took place in the sports world over the weekend.
Yeah.
Your Jayhawks lost to Arizona.
I saw that.
In its own right, there's nothing wrong with it, right? Arizona's a great team. You were facing them on the road. They got their star player back. Yada, yada. Makes sense, right? Tracks. My thing is, if you go through the entirety now of the Kansas Jayhawks basketball schedule, they got a lot of very impressive wins. They have a singular, in my opinion, maybe 2 impressive road wins. One against Texas Tech when they still had JT Toppin, and one against, I'll give them, North Carolina State, which I think is a perfectly solid road win. Not like not like the most impressive road win of all time, but like a good quad 2 or whatever road win. End of list. I am starting and this is the problem. Because they're not a consistent team and because their star players play inconsistent, Darren Peterson was great on Saturday and they still got their ass kicked. But because of their inconsistencies and this other stuff, is it going to be a short march for them? They can't play away from Allen Fieldhouse. All of their good wins are at Allen. That's just what it is. And the Big 12's tough.
Yeah, they beat Texas Tech on the road, but yes.
So losing to Iowa State, losing to Arizona on the road, those aren't bad losses. But sometimes they go there and they just get rolled. They get whipped. They don't just lose. They get crushed. I'm just starting to think that, maybe Allen's effect has been better than ever this year, and, they can't win on the road. That's what it's starting to feel like. That's
they're a different team when it's not Big Monday, when it's not Allen Fieldhouse. There's no doubt. I think a lot of it is also the Big 12, which we agree is the best conference in the country, and you go through, and even, I think Iowa State lost at TCU randomly during the season as well. I think it's a fair question, though, moving forward for them. Can they play up to competition enough throughout the month of March? And they're gonna have to do that. Of course, they want to get to where they want to get. My opinion on Kansas does not drastically change based off of what happened on Saturday. This has been the story all year. Bill Self even said it. Kelvin Sampson said it. They'll play up. They'll play down. You don't really know what you're going to get.
That doesn't bode well for a March team.
I agree. No, I agree. That's
not
concerning.
Being able to put 2 games together in a row is like.
Well, they have. Just not on the road. They have.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And now this will be neutral site.
Neutral site, yeah. And depending on their seating, they might have the favorable crowd. It's a question for sure. They'll wrap up here with a couple quote-unquote easier games, although will they slip up? It's a fair question. And then they get the Big 12 tournament. They have a chance still to get the double bye. It depends. Kind of need Iowa State to lose to Arizona tonight.
They've really just tempered down to that. They're a 3 at best. They're in the 3 conversation. I don't think they can get to 2 unless they win.
Right now they're at 4. They can't get to 2. I think
yeah.
I think they're borderline locked into a 3 or 4. I think they'd have to lose out to be a 5 seed. Like lose in their first game of the Big 12 tournament and even then they might still land in the 4 line. They got too many good wins. They got as many good wins as any team in the country. Like they've beaten 5 of the top 10, 15 teams in the
every ranked team in the Big 12 they've beat.
Yeah. Yeah, but they've also, this is why I think they can't play away from Allen. They've lost to West Virginia on the road, Cincinnati on the road. They, the TCU one was a fight. That was the Allen. They've just lost to, they leave Lawrence, Kansas, and they can't play. They seem like they just lose track of themselves. Darren Peterson, he got them, and this is the one thing about having a superstar. The game, Gold, was getting out of hand in a hurry. Arizona was the better team. They were getting their ass kicked. And then Darren Peterson went into God mode for a little bit.
He really brought them back in a way.
He went into God mode. I know you didn't get to watch the game. You got to box score it. He went into God mode for a little bit, and he just started rebounding, assisting, shooting, making everything. He got him within 2, and then Arizona was a better team again. They went on an 18-4 run or whatever it was.
I think what we saw was, I think what you saw with Arizona now fully healthy again, that Arizona team, that was a team that had the perfect record.
Best team in the country, yep.
When Kansas beat them on Big Monday, special crowd, and then there were, that was a revenge type game for Arizona on top of it. And now Arizona's full strength, and they're going to be a top seed in the tournament and a legitimate chance to be in the Final Four. I think, in fact, it'd almost be somewhat surprising if they don't make it to at least the Elite Eight, Arizona, that is. And there'll be a lot of people's pick to win the national title.
So. I think fairly so. When they're fully healthy, there are 3 or 4 teams that I think, Like if you gave me the 4 teams at the top essentially and said you can have them or the entirety of the NCAA field, I'll take the 4. I'll take
Florida and Arizona.
Florida, Michigan, Arizona, and Duke. And I don't need anyone else. I take those 4, and you can have
Casey got hurt for Michigan, which is a tough blow for them.
Yeah, that might
probably would agree with that. I mean, the tournament's a crapshoot, but if I'm going to get all 4 of those and one of those 4 to win, it's hard.
It's more likely.
It's hard to argue against.
The tournament's going to be nuts.
I know we didn't spend a lot of time on it because it was an uninteresting game, but good for Missouri for at least avoiding the pitfall. Like their whole thing to right now they're projected 10 seed. Their whole thing about they're a tournament team. I've already said that. But their whole avoid Dayton, don't have to go to the first 4, that nonsense. You don't get to lose to Mississippi State. You don't get to lose to the bad, jokey SEC teams the rest of the way. It wasn't even close. They handled their business easily. It wasn't a game in which they struggled or even played down to their competition. They won it easily. It wasn't ever in question. Kudos. It wasn't it was the kind of game where you had on for 15 minutes. You're like, well, I'm good here. I don't need to see anything else. They're going to beat this.
Yeah, the Oklahomas, the Mississippi States, those are games you just have to win, and you put yourself in hopefully a spot where in the SEC tournament you don't even have to win a game to guarantee a spot. You're just trying to avoid going to Dayton. We've been saying that for a week or so. The fact that they're a 10 seed on bracketology tells you they're still barely avoiding the first 4, and so you want to make sure you don't slip up one more time.
I don't know how Lenardi still has Auburn in
it's a weird one.
in the field. It makes no sense. They're 15-14.
Every year there's one random.
It doesn't make any sense.
Was it that Syracuse team that was 18?
Yes, and they ended up going to the Final Four.
Yes, they did. Yes,
and they went to the Final Four.
That is a good point.
Whether you like it or not, they still value talent. They look at your roster and they say, because Auburn has talent. They look at the roster and say talent.
Ironically, that was what Bruce Pearl's comment was about the Auburn team that's coached by his son.
Of course.
If we're picking the 68 best teams and Miami of Ohio is not in, I will say, maybe the conversation is kind of correct, but not with
There's never been a more biased thing said by anyone.
Yeah, I was going to say, but not with the team that you're talking about is